Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of The Average Overlanders. I am Jared.
And I'm Ben. And today we have a very special guest with us, Brandon Barberina. Welcome.
What's happening?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, thanks for joining us, man. Driving all the way out here and taking the time. Really appreciate it.
People must think we live like in like some crazy mountain town out in the middle of nowhere because we're always like, thanks for making the drive out here. But
it's because everybody
we live in a suburb. No.
Yeah, we're literally in a track home right now. But just real quick, how can people find you on Instagram?
At code_5337.
Awesome. And I know, like, when I first heard that or saw that, I was like, what the hell does that even mean?
I know. I was like, I'm a little curious myself.
Yeah, what's the code, man?
If you look it up on the telephone dial pad, it spells out Jeep.
Oh, shut up. Okay. Nice. I like it.
Okay. Yeah. Because, hey, we have given Jeeps a little bit of a hard time sometimes.
We've given a lot of love as well, though.
We have,
so
but
we're very impartial.
Everybody knows that I started out actually with a Jeep. That was my very first like off-road vehicle. Mm-hmm. And we finally have the guy, the master mechanic, the mastermind behind my two-wheel drive conversion to four-wheel drive. It's his fault that I even go off-roading.
Yeah, I remember the day we met. We were at some party. It was like a mutual friend's house somewhere.
It was a baby party.
Yeah, it was like a baby get together. Our kids met at Gymboree, and then that's
which doesn't exist anymore.
Right. It doesn't actually.
Yeah. And those kids that were babies are now in 6th grade.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane, man.
It's crazy. So yeah, I don't know if I came in my Jeep or what it was, but somehow we got on the topic of talking Jeeps, and you're like, yeah, man, I really want to buy an XJ, and as soon as you said XJ, I was like, oh, this guy's cool. He didn't say Jeep Cherokee. He says XJ. He knows a little bit.
Nice.
And I only knew that because I was like looking at him because I like the boxy look of him.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find a 4-wheel drive in my price range. Yeah. And so I was like, I'll just buy a 2-wheel drive because I didn't know anything. And I bought this one, and because we were talking about it, I think you actually sent me that guy's forum post where he was like selling it because he actually it didn't get in a wreck, but he backed into something and it ruined his tailgate, and so he repainted because he had a yellow XJ and then the silver XJ. The yellow XJ was 4-wheel drive, but he ended up building into some big buggy.
Yeah,
a little rock buggy out of it or something.
Yeah, and he was always going out to like Tierra del Sol and all that kind of shit.
Oh wait, was it a yellow XJ that looked like a buggy?
Yeah, it had full roll cage, and he chopped it off and everything.
And the back half was chopped off?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That guy's name was like Goat something. Yeah, I remember who that was. Huh. I totally forgot that you bought that Jeep from him.
Yeah, because he was selling, because it was just like his grocery getter, because, it was a two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
And he's got a full-on buggy and everything else.
Yeah, I remember that rig now. Yeah, he was big in the North American XJ Association, which I used to be like super involved with.
Yeah. So... yeah, as the story goes, I got a 2-wheel drive, and then Brandon's like, let's make it 4-wheel drive.
Just make it better.
I was like, hey, man, you don't know what you're getting into. I said, I am not mechanically inclined at all whatsoever. I was like the little kid holding a flashlight, and he was like yelling at me, like, no, show it over here, shine it over here.
Dude, I remember being up to like 3 a.m. one night, and then the next day I almost lost my life with a drive shaft. We'll get into that later.
that is actually the closest to death Brandon's probably ever
Oh, yeah.
Really?
No, legit.
He's done some really hardcore rock crawling.
Yeah.
And, he had some pretty close calls. He even flipped over in his your recent wreck.
Oh yeah. That rollover too. I've had multiple rollovers in my life.
Yeah, but this is like driving to work, and some guy cut him off, and he rolled it on the 15 going north.
Ooh.
Yeah,
and it was near the 60, right?
Yeah, just past the 60. I went off the side of the freeway. Went end over end 3 times in my JK.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was gnarly.
Yeah, he was pretty beat up. He had the nicest ambulance ride, though.
Oh, yeah?
I will say.
Oh, yeah. it was like Italian leather Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So we'll quickly we'll go back to the story about the XJ.
Yeah,
but my whole point in all this is he's been close to near death like so many times. And when we put together the 4-wheel drive, he was doing this thing with the drive shaft, and he's like, "All right, now put it into this gear," because you had like taken
you
off.
have it chalked up or what?
No, but what happened? You tell the story.
I can't remember what we were doing, but I think
we were changing the U-joint.
I don't know. So long story short, the drive shaft was connected to the transmission, and I'm physically holding onto it with my hands, right?
Yeah.
It's not connected at the rear end.
Okay.
Okay. And I think I told Ben to like either start the Jeep or like I think I told you to shift the transfer case.
Yeah.
You're going to shift it into like 4-wheel drive, so like or into neutral or something. And instead of shifting the transfer case, you shifted the transmission into drive.
No, listen. He assumed I knew what I was fucking doing.
That's totally your.
That was
that's on
mistake
you.
number one.
He didn't say shift the transfer case
He
to
just said
neutral.
shift
He
it.
just said shift it to neutral, and I was thinking, okay.
Oh.
So I'm holding on to this thing, right? And he shifts it into drive and it starts spinning in my
shut up.
hands.
Yeah.
I'm laying down underneath it, like the length
Just
of the
holding it
vehicle.
up, essentially, yeah.
And he does the shift, and at the moment he shifts it, some guy walks up to my driveway and starts talking to him, and he's just sitting there like blah 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 blah
Having a
blah,
great old
and I'm
time.
holding on to a spinning
Hanging on
drive
for dear
shaft.
life.
And I'm like, Ben, turn it off.
Shit.
Yeah. So
What?
he
I can't
almost-
hear you. I'm
he
busy.
almost died in that, and not all the rollovers, all the everything. High speed rollover.
Oh,
You were in
fuck.
your Jeep got totaled.
Oh yeah. There wasn't. I mean, the rear axle snapped in half. Like the one tire went flying
Oh,
somewhere.
your accident. Yeah.
Yeah. The transfer case cracked. The engine caught on fire. I mean, there was nothing left of that Jeep. It was destroyed. It was such a shame because it was a really, really nice JK. I actually really like that Jeep.
That was a 2-door JK Rubicon that was like fully built.
Yeah.
It's nice you could walk away from it though.
Yeah. That was the crazy thing. Like
You put out your own fire.
Oh yeah.
that wreck in hindsight was kind of hilarious. So I legit got hit by a cement truck.
Oof.
Went off the side of the freeway, airborne, rolled it. I landed on my side sideways, and I crawl out of there. And I'm like looking for my cell phone, right? Because I had no top, no doors on, no nothing. So everything went flying except for me somehow.
Yard sale. Yeah.
So I'm like walking around looking for my cell phone.
Adrenaline pumping.
Yeah. And I don't know if there was like a cop nearby or something, but like the first person that showed up was a cop. He was like running down the hill. And he's like, where's the driver? Where's the driver? And I was like, I'm the driver.
That's me.
He's like, bro, sit down. Are you not dead?
Your shit's on fire over here.
And I was like, I'm looking for my phone. So, couldn't find the phone. I'm like walking back to my Jeep, and I notice it's on fire, and there's like a crowd of people just like standing there looking at it. So I kind of like pushed the crowd away, grabbed the fire extinguisher that's still attached to my roll bar, and put my own fire out.
No
I was like,
way,
thanks for the
dude.
help, guys.
Yeah, right?
My head's like bleeding and shit.
Yeah, you were pretty banged up. You definitely got a concussion, man.
Yeah, I had some serious adrenaline pumping through me for a while because like they loaded that Jeep up on the tow truck, took it away. I got picked up by an undisclosed person.
Yeah.
We can all laugh about
mystery.
that. Yeah. I got picked up by her and went down to Savvy Offroad, and I walk in and I was like, I need the truck and the trailer because they used to like let me borrow vehicles. And they're looking at me like, what happened to like you
You're
got
all
dry blood
fucking
going down
mess.
your face?
Like a
You're
zombie.
covered in dirt. Like what? They just get dragged across the
I
street.
need a truck and a trailer. Don't ask questions. We're gonna do some shit.
Yeah, dude, it was totally that situation, man. And they're like, you need to go like you go to the hospital, dude.
Oh fuck.
And so like later that day, because I found out through Rory.
Yeah.
The guy who's not your friend. And he's like, hey, man, Brandon really got injured. We need to take him to the ER. He's refusing to go. And so I was like, oh, what? So I drove over and I was driving my Alfa Romeo Giulia at the time. And it has like the red leather interior and everything. It's all super nice. Well, we get there and then we had to help him come down the stairs because I think your adrenaline had like kind of
Yeah.
it
At
started to
that
kick.
point, I
Yeah.
started wearing off, and I couldn't even walk anymore.
Yeah.
And this is during the
The
pandemic.
next day is like the worst. Yeah.
where like you weren't allowed to enter the hospital unless you're
Oh,
like
that's
literally
right.
dying.
Yeah. Something.
And Brandon would have died with the
yeah. That
the
would
woo
have.
flu.
That's what would have killed him with the woo flu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so to kind of round out this story, the ambulance was an Alfa Romeo Giulia.
Hey, I had red seats, so it counts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was blinking my lights, dude. You know?
Gotta get there quick.
Yeah,
times,
but
good times.
the XJ drive shaft, I think you were more scared during that.
Yeah, for sure. I was like counting my lives at every rotation that it spun in my hands, man.
Burning the skin on your hands.
Well, I was gonna do my transfer case this weekend. I was gonna ask you to help me, but maybe I won't.
Yeah, you should double think that.
Maybe I'll think.
Ask Adam.
Hey, Adam, what are you doing this weekend? He's working on his transfer case.
Didn't he finish it?
Dude, he just swapped his Sequoia to a manual.
A manual transfer case.
Yeah.
Oh, got
He
it with
cut
like
a hole
a
in the-
shifter.
Yeah.
He cut a hole just like,
Yeah.
well, on the XJ, what's cool about this, so when we were building the 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, the cool thing about it is that those 2-wheel drives are actually just kind of built as a 4-wheel drive, meaning they
Yeah,
had
the
like
shell's the same.
the
Yeah,
shells
you
all
just
the
have
same.
to. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
but-
the bolts and everything, like there was like where the transfer case thing goes up where the shifter is.
Would normally be.
This will probably be the first time I admit this about this build, is that I was only assuming that was going to be the case.
Oh, yeah,
But
we
I was,
got this.
I
Don't
was
worry.
deep down inside, I was fully prepared to like pull out a hole saw on the sawzall and make that hole in the floor happen.
With a BFH.
Yeah, but when we pulled the center console off, I was pleasantly surprised that all we had to do was unbolt a cover plate.
Yeah, I knew that was there.
And Jared, I know you know this too, but it doesn't matter what old Jeep it is. It could have been owned by an old pastor, from this Baptist church and everything. No matter what, you're always going to find some sort of drug paraphernalia underneath the carpets and everything else. And I think we found like a pipe or something.
Yeah. Or we found a joint, I think.
A joint. Yeah.
Score. Hey, come up.
The funny part, I think I was telling you that. I was like, dude, every XJ that I've ever worked on, I find drugs somewhere. It's a trip. Because I used to work for a shop way back in the day.
That's why they're worth so much.
Yeah, and sure enough, man, I remember we were busting up. We were like, oh, we found it. There it is.
It was funny because he was telling me that story. He's like, every XJ, and literally less than 2 minutes later, he's like, oh, found it.
There it is. He probably planted it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Colombians, man.
These guys, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good time, man. I still remember that build. It'll always stay with me just because, you work for a lot of automotive companies and for the past, decade, right?
Yep.
And during this time, you were working for, AT&T?
AT&T, man. Yeah.
He was like the guy that came out to your house and you were waiting for a 4-hour window for this guy to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Go dance on the telephone pole in your backyard for a while.
Yeah.
I do not miss those days.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but that's when we built that thing. I mean, you even built the rock sliders for me.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Really?
I welded those things up for you. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I still
You did some
remember.
custom fab work and everything for this guy. Wow.
I know. I paid him too well.
Yeah.
But I still remember, I had not hit a trail ever in that thing. And he's like, hey, man, we're going to go do Cleghorn. And I was like, oh, man, I was so scared. I was like, oh, my God. And he's like,
Wait, so Cleghorn was your first, technically, your first trail off-road?
yeah, but you haven't gone with Brandon off-road.
No, I'm just saying in general, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
that was my
as
very
your
first trail.
hey, just cut your teeth on this.
Yeah, because it's local.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
right up the Cajon Pass.
To be clear, I'm not saying Cleghorn is super hard or anything like that, but I did only take the hard lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave Ben no other option. I was like, no, you're coming this way.
Yeah, just follow me. Follow me.
But honestly, it was crazy because I didn't know what the capability was. I literally had just picked up some, what was it? The Curiga tires.
What?
It's like Curiga.
The Federal something mud
Federals.
terrains. Yeah,
Yeah.
Federal's the company name.
All
Yeah.
right.
Federal
Yeah.
Curiga mud terrains, dude. They were actually good tires.
Hey.
But I was worried that I was going to get some body damage. And he's like, let's build some rock sliders real quick. Got some square tubing, started welding it up.
Yep.
And it was the day before the trail run. It was my very first trail run. I was all amped up and everything. I was like, I got to get a good night's sleep. And this guy's like, well, we only have time for one rock slider. So we're going to
Shut up.
Yeah. So, he's
So we
like,
put on the passenger side. I was like, that's the one side you can't see.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was
Smart.
I went on Cleghorn with one rock slider on the passenger side. He's like, just watch your driver. I'm like, okay. Yeah, but I didn't hit anything.
Hey, fuck.
That thing was super capable. I had no idea that it could flex so hard. And Man, that XJ was awesome.
It was open at the time, right? We didn't have a
Open
locker.
diff.
We put a rear locker in it eventually.
Yeah, we put that Yukon. It was like a lunchbox locker.
Yeah, lunchbox locker.
Yeah, you installed that too.
Yeah, right on, right on.
Yeah, that was a good time. It was an awesome build. And then
By the time that Jeep was done, it was so clean, man. It was so clean. I remember seeing a picture of it after you sold it when in the snow. Remember that picture?
Yeah, I sold to a guy who moved to Idaho like a month later.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Great with a locker.
Firm of the drift, man.
I know, dude. He's like, "Never Tokyo." Yeah, man. No, it looks so clean. I had just put on those new wheels on it with the Baja, Mickey Thompson Baja claws or whatever.
Yeah. MTZs.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was awesome, man. I love that thing.
Right on. And then I convinced you. Then, like in the midst of all that, it was actually before you sold it.
It was okay. This guy is a bad influence.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
He was like, "Hey Ben," I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, you should buy this Jeep," and then sends me to like Pirate 4x4 forum.
Oh,
and I'm
shit.
like, "What is this butt pirate 4x4?
What are you giving me into?
Yeah, I'm like, "What is this?" And he's like, "No, you got to buy this. This is from a guy who races like or something like that." And the guy,
Yeah. He raced for Red Bull. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So long story short, I found like the diamond in the rough of TJs. So when Jeep first came out with the Jeep Rubicon TJ, Curry Enterprises said, "You know what? We can build a better Jeep." And they started building what was called the Eldorado package. So you take them your TJ, and they had a couple packages under the Eldorado name. But this one was like the top of the top. I mean, Curry 9s front rear, Atlas transfer case, had all the Curry rock jock suspension. It had something called Curry J arms, which probably only the old school guys are gonna even know what those are.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they wrap around underneath. It's the old reach around.
Yeah,
the old Jeep speed days and shit.
Yeah. They don't exist anymore. But the theory was that it's a longer arm without having to change the mounting points. Yada yada yada. It had all that, man. It was sweet, and on top of that, it was supercharged.
Yeah, a front and rear ARBs. It had everything, man.
Yeah. Atlas twin stick. I mean, it was
had like 40,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Damn.
40,000 trail miles.
Yeah.
In Johnson Valley.
Oh yeah, that thing looked like it lived on the hammers when
Yeah.
he got it. Like there wasn't a spot that wasn't. I wouldn't say scratched is not the right word. It's more like gouged.
It was either gouged or somebody. It looked like somebody literally took a hammer, like a sledge, to it and just goes bam.
Yeah, and I kept having to reassure Ben. I'm like, this is normal. Don't worry. Like this thing's awesome.
This looks like a shit box.
That's not what he said.
Talking about?
No, that's not what he said. He's like, "Don't be a pussy."
Yeah.
Right.
That's basically what it was. And it had a hard top. It was like super clean, 40,000 some odd miles. It had like the gas tank was actually a skid plate built into the gas tank. It was like a fuel cell.
Yeah. Had a Genrite tank.
Fuel cell.
I mean, it was bad. Like any part you could throw out a TJ, like hardcore, like legit rock crawler part, it had it. It was badass.
Yeah, it even had locking hubs in the front, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, "Hey, you should buy this." Like, I think he was like half joking. And I was like,
I think I was, to be
and
honest.
then I literally texted him like 2 hours later. I'm like, "All right, I bought it."
Now,
No, actually, you texted me, you're like, "I'm on my way now."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, you're not." And then he sent me a picture standing in front of him. I was like, "Oh, shit."
He was like, "Oh, fuck, Ben bought it."
Right.
So, and I
he's
think
good with that because like I saw he bought that stupid Mini, same thing. I'm like, hey, check this thing out, dude. You should buy this. Next thing
did
you
the
know,
same
he's like,
thing
oh,
to
I
me,
just sent him a check.
between you two fuckers, you have spent more money of mine than anyone else I know.
Yep.
But I'm glad I bought it, and then I ended up selling the XJ to fund the TJ, which was a good deal because I was getting something more along the lines of what we were doing at the time.
Yeah.
Rock crawling was all the rage, dude. We were going to King of the Hammers. We were yelling at people on back door. Like, dude,
Hit it with your purse.
no, literally, like when we were there, like there wasn't that many people that used to go to
Right.
back door at night.
Right.
I mean, there was like a handful of people, and we're all just talking shit to these guys from Orange County that have their like $150,000 Jeeps that Daddy built for them, and they don't know how to drive, and they're like, and I'm over there with my flashlight saying, "Put your tire on that rock," acting like I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I only knew because Brandon told me. He's like, "Hey, that's the line." I'm just better at talking shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean those were the days, man. So I started out in a Jeep. and doing some crawling with you.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. And then you sold the TJ and made the first step into the overland underworld and bought a Land Rover. And that's when they started to disown you.
He slowly was like, nah, that ain't it.
Right.
No. But honestly, I mean, you saw the Land Rover. That thing was cherry.
Yeah.
That thing was cherry.
It was
and
nice.
I should have never sold it. I should have never put 33s on it, first of all. And then because it ruined my flex.
I can only talk trash on Land Rovers because I come from a long line of family history in Land Rovers. My dad's a huge Land Rover nerd. My grandfather's a huge Land Rover nerd. My brother has one. And they all admit they're piles of crap, but they love them.
Oh, yeah. No, it's something. It's,
Our true listeners know that Jared is a Land Rover lover.
Yes. It's a curse.
I mean, I will admit, I would love to build a Land Rover if I had the $100,000 that I need to take the body off, put an LS in it, and Dana 60s underneath, and basically remove everything Land Rover other than the body.
Drop a Land Rover shell on something else and you're fine.
No, man, I was driving to work yesterday, and I saw the nicest Defender I've ever seen in my life. And it was like that blue metallic, like that battleship gray / blue. He had the mud flaps. It was all big. It was on 35s, I'm sure. It was really nice. And I was like, damn, I think I want a Land Rover again.
They're damn it. Don't even get me started, man. They're so like rad when they're rad, but when they're not, they fucking suck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, because your dad had a D90, right?
Yeah, my dad had a 97 D90 and he had a 04 Discovery.
Okay.
And so those were his last Land Rovers that he had. But they're my brother still has the
P38.
No, my brother has a Range Rover Classic. It's an 89 Classic.
Nice.
And he still has my dad's old Discovery.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's
Nice.
got both of those.
Blown head gasket, probably.
Yeah, I think it blows a head gasket every year. He only drives it twice a year, so
It's like an annual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a constant battle of shit talking between me and my three brothers about Land Rovers and blowing head gaskets. It's great.
Yeah. Well, you're a Jeep guy through and through. I mean, what was your first Jeep build? Why don't you tell them about that?
So my dad, although he's a big Land Rover guy, at the heart of it, he's actually a Jeep guy. Off-roading has been in the family for generations at this point. I was born into it. I have a picture when I was maybe a year or two old, standing on my dad's CJ7 fender. He had a Renegade CJ7 with a 304 V8 in it. And this was in Ecuador. He had it imported to Ecuador, and we were on the top of the Cotopaxi volcano. So my dad was like an OG Overlander back then.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like where the love affair of Jeep started was back then. So my dad's had all kinds of Jeeps, and when it finally came time for me to learn how to drive and all that, I was 14, and he bought me a YJ Renegade, which most people are going to hate on the disco fenders and call them like skirts and stuff, but my dad loved those things. It was his dream Jeep to build a Renegade with big tires and try and keep the fenders. So he found this used one. It was a 93 Renegade, and it was like cherry. I mean, this thing was super, super cherry. To think what I did to it by the end of its life.
Total molestation.
Yeah.
He was like a Catholic priest. That was good.
So he buys this thing and he's like, look, son, this is going to be your Jeep, father-son project, yada, yada, yada.
Cool.
That kind of deal. He taught me how to drive in it, taught me to off-road. My first trail was also Cleghorn in that Jeep.
All right.
It cracked me up.
Took all the hard lines, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, my first trail, it was kind of cheating though, because the Jeep was bone stock, but all my uncles had YJs also at the time. And my dad put a locker in the back of it, bone stock YJ with a locker in the back, and he didn't tell anybody.
Not even you?
No, I knew about it. He didn't tell anybody, and we rolled up to the trail, and everyone's like getting stuck, and we're just like breezing through everything, right?
What the fuck is it?
And my uncles are like, "What is going? Like, why are you not getting stuck?" and they finally figured it out. We had a Detroit locker in the back.
Nice. All driver, man. It's all driver.
Driver mod.
Yeah. He had me driving. I mean, he was just mad talking shit on them, and they're like, he's never even driven in his life, and he's just like breezing through all this,
taking all the hard lines.
Yeah.
I mean, Cleghorn, a lot of people talk shit about it because like most people actually just take the fire roads. They don't take the offshoots and stuff like that. But I still remember like there's a ton of people that like flip their rigs on the Cleghorn.
Oh yeah,
like
a lot of people fuck their shit up.
To this day, a lot of people, because it's super off camber, and new people can easily make the wrong decision when they're off camber. It's like the natural instinct for most people to turn away from the roll instead
like,
of
I don't want to go in that ditch.
Yeah. They try and drive out of the ditch instead of actually driving into it, and that's how most people end up upside down at Cleghorn. But yeah, I mean, kind of getting back to the first Jeep. So he bought that thing, and then 15 years old, we're out wheeling it and this and that, and I just kind of naturally had it in me, like I wanted to take the gnarlier lines. And I scratched the rocker panel on it once. And
the skirt?
The skirt. And my dad got kind of mad. So I was like, fuck this. I'm going to buy my own Jeep. So I started saving my money. By the time
I scratch up. And
So by the time I was 16, I had enough money to buy a 72 CJ5 is what I bought. Had a 304 in it with a T90 trans. I can't really remember. And I had that thing for all of like 3 months, and I was like, this thing sucks. I had no power steering, no power brakes. Like, it was horrible. It was the worst decision I ever made.
Is it though?
Right.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. I caught on to that.
Yep.
And
that should be your first car, though. Right? Yeah, I mean, come on.
So got rid of it, and I bought an XJ, and that's kind of like where my love affair XJs came.
The blue one, right?
Yep. And that's where Rory will tell you that I ruined his life, because in high school, Rory wanted to buy an XJ. I was like, don't buy XJs, they're pieces of shit. They don't have a frame, will fold in half like taco. And then I ended up buying an XJ and becoming a big old XJ nerd. So he says I ruined his life because of that for some reason. But
you always ruin his life.
Yeah.
That's why you're not friends. Oh man.
So I had the XJ for a while. I built that thing up. It had an XO cage, which back in the early 2000s was super cool.
That was the cool guy.
It was super cool.
hot.
Yeah. Had the whole jungle gym surrounding it.
Hey everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
I have pool noodles to protect you.
Legit. You know what was hilarious? So I get this cage built and all this. It's like looking all sick. You go around the first trail. We went down to what's it called? I don't know. It's this off-road area down in San Diego. The trail is called Bronco Peak. I just forget what the recreation area is. And it was a gnarly trail. There was like this big like V-notch shaped rock that I'm going up. And I laid it over on its side. And I'm like, whatever, I got an XO cage, right? Let's just drag it. Yeah. So I just keep at it, dragging the shit out of this thing sideways. and the XO cage like catches a rock, and I get stuck. So I'm like, well, let's just winch it and keep going. Like, why not? Dude, I folded the B pillar on the XO cage like so bad, and it dove the rock into the door and just destroyed the XO. I was like, well, that roll cage was worthless.
You could have used it in your JK accident.
Yeah. After that, I realized XO cages are dumb.
That's what it took, huh?
Right.
Okay.
So got rid of the XJ maybe like a year after building it, and I bought I told my dad, I was like, look, I'm going to buy the YJ, the Renegade, from you. That way you can't complain if I scratch it and beat it up. And so,
because he will.
Yeah. And at that point he was talking about putting it for sale because he had just bought his Defender, and he bought a CJ7 at the time. He bought a CJ7 with a 401 in it. And so he was like, I don't need two Jeeps. I'm gonna sell the YJ because you have your XJ. Like, what do we need all these Jeeps for? So I sold the XJ, I bought the YJ, and literally I remember going up to I sold the XJ, and literally the guy pays me cash. I walk right up to my dad. I give him the cash. I was like, here's the money for the YJ. I walk outside with tools, and I rip all the fenders.
Shut up right then and there.
Right then and there. And my dad was just like shaking. Yeah, he was just shaking his head like, wow, that was my dream Jeep. It was cherry. The paint in it was perfect. I ripped it all off, took a Sawzall to the fenders. And I slapped some huge. I think I put at the time they were huge. I think I put like 35s on it, and I just started beating the crap out of that YJ.
Nice.
Oh yeah. No, it's so funny because first the EXO cage and now you're ripping off his fenders.
Right.
I mean, Jesus. No, but I still remember you were telling me that somebody, because you eventually sold that YJ after you like super built it up.
Yeah, that Jeep was built, and 4-to-1 transfer case, Curry axles. I mean, everything. It was super built. Then my first kid was born, and it only had 2 seats because it had a fuel cell in the back. And I was like, all right, I need something more responsible. So
You bought a Jeep Liberty.
so
Fuck.
yeah, I did buy a Jeep Liberty.
really?
That was the
Okay.
Ex's
I
vehicle.
thought you were just trying to clown. There.
No, he legit did
No, that was the soccer
like-
mom.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the new XJ.
So I bought a Liberty for her, and I bought a 2008 JK. It was brand new at the time, 2-door red. I mean, it matched the old YJ perfectly, which is what I was going after. And it was an X. It was as base model as it gets. Stick shift, soft top, crank windows. Literally just said I want no options.
Yeah.
And got that thing, and I built it up on like 35s, and at the time it was cool.
Yeah.
That was one of the first XJs, or one of the first JKs that were built up. And yeah, that was a cool vehicle. And I think it was like, how old was I? I mean, how old were my kids? My kids were,
Because I met you when your daughter was like 6-8 months old.
yeah.
It was like Gymboree, like almost a year old.
I don't know. It was years later. I don't even remember what I was driving. Oh, I was driving my other XJ,
The white one.
Yeah, and I was at Tierra del Sol, and I'm just like cruising like on the desert, going out somewhere. And out of the corner of my eye, I just like spot this red like shape of a Jeep that looked familiar, and I like swing my head over, and it's my old YJ from when I was 16.
Oh shit.
And I was like, oh shit. And I just made a beeline towards it, and sure enough, there it is. I mean, it was identical to how I had sold it, except the guy took the fuel cell out and put a seat in the back. But other than that, it was the same old Jeep. And I'm still in contact with him. And every now and then I'm like, you still got the Jeep, right? Because like one day I'm going to buy it back from you.
Yeah. If you ever sell it, let me know.
Right.
And I
He
probably
knows
won't
he
have
can-
any money, so.
Yeah, you can ask any price he wants for it at this
Oh,
point.
yeah, no,
yeah.
for sure. For
You're
sure.
like, oh, you want 15 grand for an old shitty YJ? Sure.
Damn
Right.
it.
God
Yeah.
damn it. I sold it to you for 4.
I think he purposely teases me, like maybe like once a year he like takes it wheeling and he like sends me like one picture where it looks like really good, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Urgh," like I just can't like hold back from like trying to like give him an offer.
Brandon texts him, send nudes.
But yeah, of all vehicles I've ever owned, I really regret selling that Jeep. Just one, the Sentimental Valley, and 2, I miss having a rig that I can take out like to the hammers and literally flop it on its side and keep driving it and not worry about body damage. Like
Yeah.
that's a style of off-roading that I miss and I really, really liked.
Because now you have a pretty Jeep.
Yeah. It's I've finally reached, I don't know if it's an age thing or I just realized that I don't want to destroy my Gladiator.
It might be an age. Yeah, I'm at that point. Like I think it was age. You kind of like appreciate things more. Like, man, I worked a lot of fucking hours to pay for this thing. So
Yeah. Because I mean, Ben can attest to this. Pretty much every vehicle he's ever seen me own ends up destroyed within a couple years of its life. with me.
100%.
So one way or another, whether it's on the trail or on the freeway, it's still destroyed.
It's getting wrecked one way or another. Yeah,
Well, it got destroyed off road, technically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was
Ended up
mid-air.
off road. Yeah,
Yeah. So I have to ask you, would you ever own a Toyota?
Yeah, I although I love Jeeps, I'm not a purist. I love Toyotas. I really do. And there's been so many times where I want a Toyota or Suzuki Samurai. Suzuki,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I would
Axle
love it.
swap a Sammy.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, a tin top Samurai on Yoda axles would be sweet.
I know. We talked about it many times. And I
Yeah.
still remember we were doing the poker run, some Jeep poker run that we went on, and we saw a Sammy that was all built up like that. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah, they're sweet. That'd be a cool build. Mitsubishi Monteros are kind of cool.
Ooh.
I'm not
Sergio, what up?
yeah, I'm not a huge IFS fan, but I think a Montero that's solid axle swapped and done right would be kind of cool.
It's a lot of money.
It is. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a millionaire in my mind of building off-road.
Yeah, we're talking,
If I ever struck gold, I would have like a parking lot that would look like a junkyard, but
they all
Why
run.
not just buy the junkyard? Because that's your spare parts. bin.
Yeah, basically, that's what you need to do.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, man. No, that's awesome. So, you were, like I said before, I met you when you were working for AT&T, and then you've always had automotive blood,
Yeah.
you know, and doing all the Jeep stuff. And then, finally you kind of got a break into the automotive world, right?
Definitely. Yep.
Professionally.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Nice.
Yeah. So, also, I guess a weird connection through Jim Burry to Ben and then his neighbor.
Yeah.
It all comes around. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, Jim Burry did wonders for my
Wow,
life.
shit, I need to start. Damn, why did you go
They
out of
don't exist
business?
anymore.
They don't
Damn it.
exist anymore. Yeah, your opportunity's over.
Yeah. No, it was kind of funny because I knew you through Jim Burry, and then my neighbor, his name was Mark, and Mark was like this. He was kind of like a different type of guy that had like a lot of Hot Wheel cars and stuff. He was really into that stuff. He's into the RC stuff. And at the time I was doing like RC stuff, like our RC rock crawlers and stuff. And so he was my neighbor, and he's like, "Hey, come over, have a margarita in my garage."
Sounds like Mark.
Like,
Sounds great, yeah.
His garage was like the ultimate man cave. It really
Oh, yeah,
was.
yeah.
He had a
rad.
barber's chair in there.
Oh,
and
yeah?
He had like all of his display cases for his Hot Wheels.
I'm gonna just put it this way: you couldn't see the paint on the walls from all the Hot Wheels,
that's
including
vicious,
the
dude.
ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wall to wall ceiling. There was RC cars hanging from the roof. It was awesome.
That
He
sounds
even had
rad.
like dirt bikes in there, and you're like, "Whoa, some like ultra rare dirt bike or something." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I just sold that," you know.
Yeah.
But he was like the most fun, chill dude that I've ever met, and we just started talking, and he had a really nice TJ that he like kept. He was the opposite of Brandon.
yeah. It was,
He like waxed it.
yeah.
I think he waxed like the drive shafts on it. I mean,
probably.
everything sparkled.
Well,
on
you
that
did
Jeep.
too, technically.
I waxed the drive shaft on your XJ. That's for
right.
sure.
Nice and clean. Yeah.
The hand oil. But anyways, so I became friends with Mark, and then Brandon was my friend, and he was a Jeep guy, and then Mark was always asking questions about like Jeep stuff or whatever, and I just connected him with Brandon.
Yeah. So I started hanging out with Mark, started doing some work on his Jeep, and he worked for Falcon Tire. He was in sales. And
He was a sales
bitchin'.
guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a sales guy. And so he linked me up with Falcon and kind of tipped me off on an opportunity to get in with the marketing team. And long story short, I started working for them. I took over the light truck and off-road motorsports marketing department.
That's got to be a bitchin' job, dude.
Dude, it'd be rad.
Was awesome. It was definitely at the right time in my life.
Nice.
Because I was doing a lot of traveling and had a really good time when in my personal life I was having a really bad time.
Yeah.
So it was perfect timing.
Well, you were going to all, like at the time, Falcon in Motorsports was like freaking premier.
Yeah, they're
I mean, you
blowing
guys
up.
had the 18-wheeler trailer, you had all the awnings roll out, and then you had like a full-on pit crew in there.
Yeah. It was rad. It was more of a motorsports team than it was a marketing team. My role there was a marketing manager, but I felt like I was a crew chief for a race team. And that's really what it was. I mean, we just traveled the U.S. going from race to race on the Ultra 4 circuit and short course racing. And of course, there was off-road shows sprinkled in between. But ton of travel, ton of good times. Brought home a whole bunch of championships. During those 3 years, we led Ultra 4 into the number one most winning. We became the number one most winning team of Ultra 4 in the EMC class.
Everyman challenge.
Yeah, everyman challenge. So for the 4,500 and 4,600 class, we were the number one most winning tire manufacturing teams there.
Nice.
The last year that I worked for them, it was pre-Wuhan virus. We came home with, I think, like 14 trophies from Ultra 4 alone. I mean, we were 1, 2, and 3 in every class that we competed in.
And at the same time, like your drift team, which I don't think you were a part of that one. That was more on the road racing side. But Falcon was everywhere.
Yeah.
killing it,
We were
yeah.
just killing it.
You had the Falcon umbrella girls,
Oh, hey.
Yeah, there was Falcon everything. I mean, I had
Yeah.
Falcon socks at one point. Like,
well,
it
that's
was-
the other thing. Mark used to give me all his Falcon
Like you
swag,
were
and
saying,
we
you
got a
came
ton
in,
of it here.
we got our Matchbox cars up here.
Yeah.
Falcon. Yeah.
And honestly, they're from Mark or Brandon.
Yeah, probably.
All
yeah.
this Falcon swag we got.
Yeah.
So it was definitely good times. I mean, the marketing team was awesome to work with. And then I started working a lot with the product planning team, which was kind of like engineering and R&D. And that's when I started going to Japan a lot with them. And I was really hands-on with the development of the newly launched Wild Peak RT, which I'm super excited to finally be able to talk about this tire.
They
I
have an
didn't even know it launched.
they have an RT now. I didn't know that.
They do have an RT, and it is sweet. You should check it out. I mean, I might be a little bit biased because I was like, this is the tread pattern you should use, and that's the tread pattern they used. So I'm like, it's
nice.
like my baby. It came to life. Like, it's sweet.
Yeah.
So I became real close with Drew, who was the engineer at Falcon, and him and I just basically developed this tire from the ground up, and it's launched and available, and I still don't have it on my truck, which makes me sad because they haven't launched the size I need. But eventually it'll be on my truck.
What sizes do they go all the way up to, like 40 and stuff, or?
They have launched up to
37's
I
probably.
think they
Yeah,
launched the
37?
37. Yeah, was the biggest size they launched. Not it's a 35. But they did announce, so I can talk about this. They did announce that they will be launching a 38. I think maybe by the end of this year. I don't know when, but
So you're going to go down a size, is what you're saying?
there's other sizing that is going to be launched, which I don't know if
Might
I can
hold
talk
out.
about or not. So I'll just hold out on that. But I'll just say other sizes that are closer to the 39-inch BFG I have.
Nice.
In that realm, possibly. Who knows?
Ballpark in it, you know.
Yep. So that was definitely an awesome experience working for them. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember you invited me out to some of the King of the Hammers, the years that you were working there, and
Yeah.
I felt like a celebrity. You know, it was pretty cool. I got to meet a lot of your teammates, I would call it, or workmates.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really cool. They're all cool guys.
Yeah,
So-
it was definitely cool. It was like being a rock star in the off-road community. It was the best way to describe it, like being on stage. Like, it was cool.
That's pretty
Yeah.
rad.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Did you ever go to Baja with Falcon?
I personally never went to Baja just because Falcon had some really strict corporate rules about going to Mexico. BFG at the time had recently gotten a big rig stolen from them.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
The whole big rig got stolen. That's
crazy.
And yours isn't subtle.
Yeah, no, they definitely.
So Falcon was like, F that. We're not dealing with that. So we never went there. We did support a lot of teams. When I first started there, we had Brenthal Industries with us.
Yeah.
And they went to Baja a lot. And then Dan Fresh was racing for us with Savvy. And
The dog moaning.
I was like, we got a 4-stroke in here somewhere.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah.
We got involved with Jeep. That was another big deal. I landed a deal with Jeep for getting a Falcon OE on the Rubicon. That was a big part of that.
Nice.
And along with that, we ended up getting a Gladiator that was given to Savvy Off-Road. It was a pre-production Gladiator. It was literally an engineering test mule. And we raced that at Hammers, and then it turned into a truck that they raced in the 7100 or 7200 class in Baja. And we were pretty successful with it. We won the 250, the 300, the 400, the 500, and the 1000 in that truck.
Wow.
So it was really cool to be factory backed by Jeep and win the Baja 1000 in a pre-production Gladiator, the first pickup truck that Jeep had built in a long time.
That's pretty bad.
That's why you have one now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there was you were also telling me a story about the Jeep when they were trying out that hybrid system or whatever, and you guys like cooked the 4-cylinder hybrid.
Yeah. Dude, that was just like a cluster of a day. I mean, so we had gotten like some of the first JLs with the 4-cylinder, whatever it's called.
It was like a hybrid E system. It was like they were
They
trying to
made
get
a
a better
hybrid?
MPG.
I know they made the all electric.
Yeah, no, it became available to the public. This
I
and this
didn't even know they had
was
one.
this one was a production vehicle. It's a 4-cylinder with like an electric boost is what it was. Turbocharged 4-cylinder with an electric boost.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're doing this big marketing thing for Falcon where we get our dealers to come out and we take them on an off-road tour and all these brand new JLs that got given to us to use. And we're out there, touring them around. We take them up Cleghorn, right? We have a specific area and we get up to the top of like where we finish. And like, I see off in the distance, there's like these huge clouds of black smoke. And I'm like, oh, damn, there's a fire in the mountain range, like on the other side of us. We need to get out of here because that's really close to the 15 freeway and they're probably going to shut it down.
Yeah, you're blocked in. Yeah.
And I literally have 12 vehicles with me of people that are from out of the state and out of the country.
Yeah.
And like, I'm responsible for all of them, right? So I turn everybody around. And we start heading back towards the freeway. And sure enough, the freeway is like shut down. There's a full closure. They're turning people around. We were on like, it was like a circular like on ramp. And we're just like pulled over to the shoulder to try and figure out what we're going to do. And I backed up all 11 Jeeps on the side of the 15 freeway. And then we drove up the side of the embankment back onto the road.
Oh, sure.
Yes. I was like, we're getting out of here. So I was
Follow
like,
me.
Yep. So we go the back way up to Big Bear. And we get up there, we bust all the traffic down. And the next day we had another group of people that were going to come do this thing with us. So we have all the Jeeps there, obviously, and they all load up and we go hit the trail. And we start doing like more like hardcore rock crawling because that's the
You took him up like Pilot Rock or something, didn't you? Or
we went up Gold Mountain.
Let's say
right?
Gold Mountain.
oh,
yeah.
Gold Mountain.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't call it hardcore rock crawling, but it's definitely much more difficult than
advanced.
Cleghorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a badge of honor trail.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
So we get up there and we start doing this thing, and the 4-cylinder e-boost vehicle starts just doing all kinds of funky stuff, right? And we come to find out that somehow we were overheating the electric boost system because at low RPMs it would run off of the e-boost system. So we were overheating it
Because you're rock crawling.
Yep.
Yeah, you're using it.
Right. So I can't remember exactly the sequence of events of how it would work, but that's what it was. It would overheat the e-boost system. So then it would turn off the e-boost system by turning off the alternator that charges it. But that same alternator also charges the main battery.
Oh,
So
well,
then
shit.
it was draining the main battery and just running out of voltage altogether, and the Jeep was just dying on us.
Stuck.
Wow.
A Jeep stuck on a Jeep badge of honor trail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So between the fire and like this Jeep dying on this, it was just a cluster of a weekend trying to make all this work. Now, I remember being on the side of the road somewhere in Big Bear with this Jeep, and we're like charging the batteries from it with another Jeep just to keep it running. And it was hilarious, but
Jeez.
lots of good times over there.
Has Jeep fixed that though? Or do they
Yeah.
even sell
Yeah.
that
They
boost
don't.
thing?
Yeah, I don't think they. I haven't even heard of it.
No, I think that engine package only lasted like a year or two. They did sell it. They fixed it. They took our comments back and addressed the
Thanks
issue.
for the feedback.
Yeah, they definitely fixed that. The other hilarious thing that happened like maybe like a week or two later with that same event is we had another JL, another new one. And this one was completely not Jeep's fault at all. One of our trail guides was warming or cooking their lunch under the hood. Just
Oh,
trail lunch.
burrito, radiator burrito.
Yeah, exactly. So they had a can of chili on the engine. And if Nina Barlow listens to this, she's going to laugh her ass off because it was Nina Barlow who was doing this. So she's
Not to name any names, but
yeah. So Nina's like warming up her can of chili under the hood and just completely forgot about it. And apparently the heat from the turbo is way too hot to warm your chili. And it blew up the can. And from the explosion, it somehow cracked the radiator line.
oh, shut up.
The actual the
hose?
not the hose, but the plastic
The housing.
housing where the hose goes onto. So it cracked that, and the Jeep was overheating. And moral of the story is don't warm your chili next to the
Everything
turbo.
covered in
Don't
chili.
turbocharge your chili. Man.
I've never thought about doing chili though. I mean, I've always done the burrito, but chili.
So I think we talked about this in like a long time ago in one of our episodes. But our buddy Eric, he's very crafty and handy, and he has, what was it called?
The muff pot.
Muff pot. Have you heard of one of those?
What?
Dude, is that what it was called? Am I making it
Yeah,
up?
because we were talking about muff diving.
Yeah.
This is taking a strange
It
turn.
was a muff pot.
It's a muff pot.
very
So
strange.
basically, it's like this thing that clamps onto your exhaust.
Yeah.
And it's like a
Your
storage.
muffler,
Your
so the
muffler.
muff
The muff
pot.
pot. And so basically, your engine muffler will heat up
Heats
whatever's
his
in
box.
this little box.
Yeah.
That has a
Your
little
hot
clamp. So
exhaust.
you like throw in your like chili or your hot dogs or whatever you want
Yeah.
to heat up. And by the time you get to the end of your trail or whatever, you have a hot meal.
Yeah,
So-
I don't.
I'm gonna die if I eat something from that.
Probably.
That's
At
hilarious.
least your radiator will be intact. The only thing that will happen there, if it explodes your exhaust, you'll have a sick sounding like vehicle.
Got
you
to
know?
straight pipe it now. Yeah.
Yeah, straight pipe Toyota.
That must have been designed back before Overland became mainstream and the Scottles came around.
Yeah. No, this is predating Scottles.
Well, maybe we need to bring it back and remarket it as an overland. You know, the overland exhaust.
You're gonna have people at the mall. They're like, check out my muff pot.
Yeah.
They're all laying underneath their Forerunners. Oh, look at the new gadget.
He's got the what?
You fucking know Herb's gonna buy it. Herb is our
You'd have
buddy
it on
with a Lexus, and he's like all about food and cooking and everything. And he
Gotcha.
he even has an oven in the back of his freaking rig.
That's hilarious. That reminds me of the picture that I sent you from the Amazon ad of like a full on like oven kitchen for Overlanding.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, at this point, just stay home and cook. Like,
Gordon Ramsay on the trail, dude.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, dude.
it's like, what happened to frozen burritos and rock crawling?
yeah,
No, it's gotten bougie, brother. Yeah.
yeah. It's Lux Landing, dude. That's what it is. Jeez, but I mean, even your Gladiator that you have.
That thing's pretty nice, man.
Let's talk a little bit about the Gladiator,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So the Gladi, yeah, it's I love that truck. So I'm a hardcore short wheelbase guy. Like I like my short wheelbase rigs. I've always had a YJ or a 2-door JK. Longest wheelbase rig I ever had was an XJ. But I like short wheelbase, and I went the complete opposite and got the longest wheelbase there is from
Pretty
Jeep.
much, yeah.
I still
For a
remember
Jeep,
when he
yeah.
bought it because he drove it to my house because we were working out together in my garage during the, that time of, human society,
Right.
where the gyms were
There
closed.
were no gyms. Yeah.
I was the gym.
I
Nobody
came
rolls
over
in-
to ask if he had any toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly.
We were all out.
It was in short supply.
Wipe my ass. No, but he rolls up in this Jeep, and I was like, you have to understand, like, I've only seen him in fully built rigs. He rolls up in the stockest of stock Gladiators with street tires on it. They look like they're
itty-bitties.
22s, and you're just like, what is this guy driving? This thing's ugly. and then, I didn't have the vision that he had. And so it definitely changed.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, definitely. I love that rig. It does everything I needed to do. My 2-door JK that I had before was I was trying to build a rig that did a little bit of everything, but kind of like the analogy I used earlier. It did a little bit of everything, but nothing very well.
Yeah.
So it was a 2-door JK on 40s that I pulled an Overland trailer with. And
God, you pulled a trailer.
yeah, I was so
You're
Olaf
about
at the
it,
time.
dude. Yeah. Holy shit.
I
Wait
still
a
remember,
minute.
he was so Olaf. He was going to not an Olaf event, but what was it? The Flagstaff one. The
Overland Expo.
Overland Expo.
Oh, you went
and
to
you
an
guys
expo?
started in like Utah or something, right?
Yeah,
You went.
not only did I go to Overland Expo, I went overland to Overland Expo.
Yeah, you did the actual, yeah.
Yeah. We did like 500 miles of dirt all the way there. It was really cool. We
You guys
chased
were
the Grand Canyon.
clearing. You guys were clearing trails with chainsaws and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, rad.
We had like 14 trees that we had to cut out of the way. Like it was gnarly. It was a cool experience. Were we in 2-wheel drive the entire time? Yes, we were. But it was still
On
fun.
40s
On 40s.
and tons,
Yeah.
fully locked.
Right. I'm sure most like Forerunner guys, Rory would be like locked down in 4-wheel drive, but
Pour low.
Yeah.
So, should I get into the story of how I dragged Rory's 4Runner and the trailer down Dishpan Springs?
Yes, because I saw the photos recently of it.
Oh, yeah?
You tagged him in it, and you're like, you said something about talking shit on Overlanders. And
It's reasons like this that Rory and I are such good friends.
this is the second time that Brandon ruined Rory's life.
Second of many,
It's
yes.
also the first time I ruined both of his trailers and his 4Runner at the same time.
Nice.
Because Rory has a nice 5th gen 4Runner.
He does.
I mean, now it's clapped out, but you know.
I mean, it was really nice up until this day.
You invited me on that trail, I think, because
Yeah, I
I had
think I
just
did.
gotten my ZR2 or something.
I
Or
think
maybe it
so.
was right before that. I don't know.
Oh, it
Yeah.
wasn't too long ago then. Okay.
Yeah, well, it wasn't too long ago, and we were like out off-roading, or I shouldn't say off-roading. We were like overlanding in Big Bear, because if I'm in two-wheel drive, I'm overlanding. It's not off-road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like hitting some nice like graded dirt roads with the trailers and like letting the kids just enjoy the day. And we wanted to go like hang out by some water so the kids could like, play. Kids love water and throwing rocks into water. So I was like, oh yeah, we can go to Dishpan, but we were like all the way up by like on the opposite side of Big Bear. And to get to Dishpan from there, you either like hit some highway or take some really long trails all the way around, or you take like a 3-mile trail called Dishpan Springs. And I was like, hey, Rory, I know a shortcut. Follow me.
I know a spot.
Tour. Yeah.
So I'm in my JK on 40s with a trailer that's on 37s, and Rory was in his 4Runner on 285s and a trailer on 285s.
Which isn't bad.
Hey.
No, it's really capable, which I proved on this day.
Remember the story about his XJ with the XO cage?
Yeah.
You see where this is going.
So we roll up to the entrance, and Rory's like, how come it says triple black diamonds rated?
Don't worry about that.
I was like, don't worry about it, bro. It's just like one spot that's hard, and we're going downhill, so you'll just fall down it. You'll be good.
I think Dishpan Springs is where we actually took my Curryville Eldorado.
Yeah,
That's where I almost flipped it. Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I know that trail. I know that trail.
As you can tell, this is where the phase of I usually say it'll be fine, and everyone's like, if Brandon says that'll be fine,
Means you're fucked.
You're fucked. So we roll in. I'm like, don't worry about it. Triple black diamond is overrated. Like nothing in Big Bear's hard.
Yeah.
It's all lies, fake news. Like, literally, Brandon. Like you have to understand. Like if you ask, like you said, if you ask Brandon, how hard is this trail? He's like, it's no problem. You can do it on like 31s.
Yeah.
No,
Stock.
31s with a winch, and you're dragging your shit over some boulders. Like that's. Oh yeah, it'll be fine. It's totally easy. So it's like a Sunday drive.
So we get like far enough into this trail that like there's no way we're turning around not just one but two rigs with trailers on them.
Yeah.
right?
Point of no
no,
return.
There's you just can't turn around. And I'm not worried about it because, like I said, I'm locked
I'm on
up on 40s. Like,
Yeah,
cool.
easy.
I'm just breezing through it. But Rory's in the back, and I can see him getting so much air in this thing. The trailer's doing all kinds of crazy shit. And the whole time I hear him just yelling bloody murder at me.
Is he on the radio?
I mean, he's not even on. He's
Don't
just
even need to
yelling
be.
out the window because I don't even think we took radios.
I can hear it now. Fuck you, Brandon.
Yeah, it was fuck you. I hate you, Brandon. I fucking hate you. Because legit, the entire conversation of us going up there was, we're just going to hit some dirt roads and like let the
time.
kids play.
Yeah. Brandon's version. We're just gonna hit some dirt roads, aka triple black diamond.
So yeah, we finally get to the Dishpan like waterfall, right? And this thing is tore the fuck up. Like I even rolled because I was up front and I rolled up to him and I was like,
It's gonna suck.
this is gonna suck. I stick my head out the window. I'm like, dude, it's fine. It's good.
He's like, milk was a bad choice.
I was like, damn. So I get through it, and I mean, I'm dragging boulders, right?
Struggling, yeah.
The trailer, I mean, you can only get the trailer to do so much. So I'm just dragging
That's
this
right. You guys
thing.
got trailers, shit.
Right. Yeah, we're pulling these X-Venture trailers behind us that were fully loaded, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, because those were our storage units for our camping gear. So all of our camping gear was in it. They were
his overlanding gear is what he meant to say.
Yeah.
my car camping gear. So they're loaded to the max. I mean, full of water and everything. I mean, they were loaded. I actually didn't even have trailer brakes. I just remembered that.
Oh shit! And you're going downhill with it.
Yeah.
And the waterfall section is not like easy.
Yeah.
There's big boulders on it too.
Yeah. There's legit some pretty good sized boulders. So I get through. I pick my way down it. Rory's like screaming his head off because he's just watching his trailer that like X Venture so graciously let us borrow as a marketing trailer. Just like bam,
Just
bam,
smashing
bam.
it.
Like no matter how slow and controlled I went down, the trailer just banged on everything. So I get down there, right? And I was like, all right, dude, just follow my line.
Like, fuck.
And of course, that was followed by like, fuck you, Brandon. So he starts following me down, and he finally gets to this one point where, like, basically at the waterfall, I think from the line that my trailer took, I dragged this like Volkswagen sized boulder right where he needs to go.
Blocking it.
So I get him as
Set
close
him
to
up
that as
good.
possible. And we literally had to wrap a strap around this boulder, attach that to the trailer because that
Strap
was
on.
Yeah, that was what was behind my Jeep was a trailer, and I'm now dragging this boulder behind my trailer downhill to get
With
it
no
out of
trailer
his way.
brakes.
With no trailer brakes.
Nice.
Yeah. And so we had to do all that. We finally get him down it, and I will say that his 4Runner on 285s and the trailer and only a rear locker made it through the whole trail
Hell yeah.
without a single scratch.
Oh,
So
damn.
I will pat my own back there.
Yeah.
Rory
Yeah,
might deny
Rory.
it.
Yeah.
Rory's gonna, I'm sure he'll have a few choice words to say about this, but it made it
he's not
unscathed.
coming on the podcast after you. Don't worry. That's why we saved you for after him. Get the real story.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, the kids played on the water.
Yeah.
Hey,
All worked out.
Did you throw that Volkswagen sized boulder into the water?
Almost, we drug that thing down quite a ways.
Shit.
So what happened with the X Venture trailers? Were they looking at it and they're like, "We don't want those back"?
Yeah,
There's a lot of
fuck.
spray paint that I had to do afterwards.
A
On
little touch up. Yeah.
yeah.
The rattle can jobs,
Hey,
dude.
you got to test them out, you know? I mean,
Yep. No, I mean, I will like hand this off to X Venture. I mean, those trailers impressed the hell out of me. Like, I mean, I had it super sideways. I had it in all kinds of situations where I was like, I'm fucked, but I'm going to stay quiet and just get through this.
Because the more worried you are,
oh, yeah,
he would
he'd be
even more
totally.
Oh, yeah.
exponential.
Yeah. No, his kid was like, are we going to die? And I was like, no, we're good.
Maybe on the next obstacle.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
Nothing. Yeah.
And so ever since then, Brandon posts memes and tags Rory and I in it and just talking trash about how we don't rock crawl anymore.
Oh,
That's where that all started.
Yeah, I feel like that was
I wonder
Rory's-
why you guys don't rock crawl anymore. Shit.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that he thought he almost died on dishpan. I
Yeah.
thought I almost died on dishpan. And there you go.
Yeah.
I was going up it though.
There seems to be this common denominator, but with a
Brandon and Dishpan
yeah,
Springs.
exactly.
If he ever's like, hey guys, I'm going to host a trail run.
Yeah. Oh,
Just a real
Dishpan.
easy Sunday cruise on
Yeah.
Dishpan Springs. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I might pass on that one.
We're going to have to take that Land Rover on Dishpan, man.
Yeah, yeah.
285s, it'll make it.
Yeah, dude, it will make it. It'll be fine, I promise.
It'll be fine.
I got our winch and the strap. We're good.
Exactly. Oh man. So
But,
you had some good times with Falcon and did a lot of cool
Yeah,
things.
sounds like it's shit.
Yeah. Had a
Dream
good
job.
time there. I did a lot of stuff with my JK, and then I got my Gladiator, and they built that up. So I think what we were getting to is that
Oh, yeah.
I built my JK to kind of do a little bit of everything, and that's also the idea with the Gladiator. But I didn't want to tow the trailer anymore.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, the bed of the Gladiator can now turn into essentially what the trailer was. And I don't got to worry about towing it. So
To carry all your car camping stuff.
yes, yeah, I need to put my Scottle somewhere.
Wait a second. Do you even own a Scottle?
I do.
Ah, see.
You're more overland than we are.
At one point, I owned two,
Oh.
and I have a shift pod.
Oh, see. No, can't talk shit.
I'm gonna start tagging him in all the Scottle memes
Oh, yeah,
now.
100% now.
Game over, dude.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was the whole idea behind the Gladiator. And then when I purchased the Gladiator, I started enjoying more like the go fast desert scene. And I figured, you know what, if I'm going to do more overlanding and less rock crawling, because I reached the point where I was like, I don't want to break this thing. And when I go rock crawling, I tend to kind of push things a little.
Yeah, we our listeners
Establish
now know.
that.
And I was like, okay, I don't want to break this Gladiator. I'm going to keep it off. Definitely not go into the hammers. Big Burr is like the hardest it'll do, and that's
John Bull.
Yeah, oh no, that thing walked all over John Bull. It was no problem. Actually, I did John Bull in it when it had 37s and no lockers.
I would say it's not a mild Gladiator build in any sense, though. I mean, it's
they'll
pretty well
post.
set up.
Yeah, it's on 39s now. I put Rubicon lockers in. Well, it's got Rubicon axles under it because it was purchased as a sport.
Which is why it looks so like, what the hell did you just buy?
Yeah. When I
interior.
bought it, like literally, it was just a stripped down sport. The only option I got was a hard top and a nice radio. Everything else.
No. You got the towing heavy duty towing package.
Yeah, I did purposely get the max tow package, so I had the bigger axles underneath it. Little did I know that those axles, you can't just throw a Rubicon locker into them because the housing isn't machined for it, and I don't know what, but. So I was going to put ARBs in it, but then I landed an awesome deal on some Rubicon axles, so I ended up putting those underneath it. So it's what some of the guys from Falcon call you Phobicon.
Phobicon.
Yeah,
Right.
actually,
Like
they
that.
call it the faux hobby because I was like, I want to build a go fast Jeep. So they're like, oh, it's a faux hobby.
Hey, man. I mean, that way you can build it the way you want it.
Yeah.
All right.
You've been through a couple iterations of suspension too, right?
Yeah. It started off with, I'm not going to bad talk this company because the owner is a really good friend of mine, but I really liked the suspension. I just found an alternative that I liked better. So it's got a rock, essentially what is a rock jock kit on it. It's pretty much all rock jock control arms, track bars, all that, except for my rear upper control arms are triangulated and I have no track bar in the rear. And I'm running different coil springs from the rock jock springs.
Okay.
That's just more personal preference. I like the way they ride and it got a little bit more height out of it. And it's got Fox 3.0s and Fox air bumps. And for a solid axle rig on 39s, it does surprisingly well at speed. And that was my goal. If I'm going to have a rig that does okay on the rocks and it's more for like camping long distances with my kids, I want to be comfortable at speed because I find overland boring, and
Go fast.
the way I can make it fast is the way I can make it fun is if I go fast. So yeah, it does really, really good at speed for a solid axle rig. I really
Well, you called it. I think, I don't know if you coined the term. Somebody else did. I don't know.
pre-landing.
No, you called it Baja landing.
Oh, that's right, Baja landing.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Because like a Baja truck, you're going fast, but at the same time, you can, car camp.
With all your scottles.
Yeah.
For some reason,
it carries two
You
scottles,
never
a ship
know.
pod. Yeah.
for some reason, I hate the term car camp also, so I just refer to like camping and off-roading.
Yeah.
You know how it originated.
Yeah.
Like Coleman tent and a Coors beer.
That's where we all started. Hell yeah.
That's right.
Banquets,
Yep. But yeah, that's the whole kind of premise behind that build was that, and now I've reached a point where I'm like, I think I want to buy something I can beat up again.
Oh, shit.
Well, can the Gladiator tow the thing that you want to beat up?
Yeah, I've actually been
yeah.
like blown away at how well that truck tows. So for a while there, I worked for another company that I used to tow a whole bunch of stuff for. And I put like a 2-car trailer behind it and loaded up 2 4-seat Can-Ams on it once.
Really?
And it towed it really well. I mean, it was close to its max towing capacity of like 7,000 pounds because the trailer was really heavy. And I was surprised. Like, it didn't squat it much. The brakes felt great. I had trailer brakes at that point.
That's good. Yeah.
I just couldn't see shit out of my mirrors because the
You
trailer
didn't have
was
the big old tow mirrors. You got
right.
to put the big old.
I need to put them Ram mirrors on
The
them.
Ram mirrors.
The moose mirrors.
Just drive with them out at all times.
Yes,
too.
yes, and ghost
Yes.
trailering.
Yeah. The ghost trailer.
Ghost ride the trailer.
Yeah. So yeah, it tows really well. I mean, I think when I was towing that, it was on 37s with stock gears still.
Oh, wow.
And I was surprised. I mean,
410s or something?
Yeah, I had 410s. For what it is, I think that 8-speed just makes a huge difference on how it towed. And the tow package comes with bigger brakes, and it stops really well. I mean, I purposely kind of slammed on it just to see what it would do. I was curious.
Yeah.
And yeah, it tows great. And so
Nice, man.
actually, the heaviest thing I've ever towed with it, this is another Rory story of dumb things that we get into. So I don't know if I can mention the celebrity's name, but
Okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
he has this Defender 110
Yeah.
with a Cummins.
He has a water company, right?
Yes, he has a
Yeah,
water
that
company.
guy, that guy, yeah.
And a Defender 110.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And he put a Cummins diesel in it. So this thing's like heavy, right? And Rory's like, I'm going to test drive it. It was right after they put the Cummins diesel. And he's like, I'm going to test drive it, make sure like it's good, this and that, which made sense. So he drives it up the Cone Pass and he gets up to the top and it starts having issues. So to not break it, he pulls over and he calls me. He's like, dude, can you get a truck and trailer come pick me up? I was like, bro, the only truck and trailer I got right now is my Gladiator and some like lawnmower trailer. So
That'll work.
It's from Harbor Freight.
So here I come, man. I'm trying to save Rory.
Always saving Rory. I see this trend
so
here.
I actually did not have trailer brakes at this time. And we load this heavy ass Land Rover on this trailer that literally fit like by the inch. So it's not like I could properly like distribute the weight on this trailer. It was just like all tongue weight with that Cummins like on the front. And my
The
truck
trailer
was,
axle handled it. Shit.
oh yeah, no, I mean it was sitting on the bumps the whole way. Like it was just way overloaded. And we're like going down the Cajon Pass, and like downshifting like all the gears, praying like Jesus take the wheel, please. Got my kids in the truck and everything. It was great.
Rolling danger. It's all right.
Yeah. So the brakes definitely were taxed at that point.
Did you get brake fade at all?
No, because luckily there was traffic, so we weren't going fast, and it actually held the weight of the trailer by the gears really well. I actually didn't have to use the brakes much at all going downhill.
Nice.
So yeah, we were careful with it, but you could definitely feel like it was loaded. I mean, loaded. But power wise, I was like, whoa, this thing's doing freaking good. Like, you got like a 9,000 pound Land Rover
Right.
behind me on this mid-sized truck with 37s.
Shit.
Oh, man.
So that was another good story with
So you
Rory.
made it home, and obviously you were fine.
Yeah, we didn't die. I am here again.
Oh, man.
But,
It always seems to be Rory gets you into a situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I love that truck. I mean, that's kind of like in its final form, I think, right now. Although I always say that.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah. Never.
Like I'm not going to keep, or like I'm going to keep my ZR2. You know that's not going to
Yeah,
Eventually, it's
I
gonna,
always advise you to keep it, but I see it's going another way. And then I'll find something stupid for you to buy, and I'll forget all the times that I advise you to keep it.
I'm constantly looking. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I send him shit all the time. Like, dude, check out this fucking Cayenne.
hey Ben, I want to fuck up
Yeah.
your day here.
And
Got
I'm
this
like,
rad
hey,
Porsche
dude.
Cayenne. It's already built a little bit. You know, you should jump on that.
I actually would not mind a Cayenne.
I know.
or,
That's why I keep sending them.
a Touareg. Those things are beefy. They're unibody, but they're beefy.
I want to
man.
get Otskier on. He's got.
Oh yeah, that thing's dope.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get Ben to buy like an OJ Bronco that's like long travel. For the longest
dude.
time, I'm always
Oh my
sending
God.
them to him.
Dude, that's like one of my dream trucks. Like our desert
I
truck.
actually found one that was like beautiful, and it was so cheap for like what they're going for now.
Oh, yeah, now
some
they're
of these
ridiculous.
Broncos are going for like 70 grand. I
Bonkers
think.
numbers.
Nuts.
Yeah.
But I think that one white one I sent you was like $15,000.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was so cheap. I mean, it was like
Has a 302 in it. That's why.
yeah. I mean, it had a 9-inch in the back, full long
Okay,
travel. Like
yeah.
it was bad. I don't know what
I
kind
wanted it, dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
no, that was like
It
one of
was
my. That's like
bitchin'.
one of my dream trucks from just growing up a desert rat. Like, yeah, that was the truck.
Yeah, I'm not doing any rock crawling anymore or anything like that. I mean, like if you had a long travel OJ Bronco and you don't care about 6 miles per gallon
Yeah.
and reliability, As long as you have a friend with a trailer, it's willing to come.
Come
Friend with
rescue
a
your
trailer
ass.
in the
Yeah.
transmission shop because the transmissions
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah, drop a C4 in
But
there.
I mean,
You're good.
people,
You know?
people coyote swap those things.
Oh yeah.
And that thing would be bitching.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Crate
It's all-
coyote
it's just
mower.
money. Yeah.
You know, money and time.
Yeah.
You know. But there's two things about your Jeep three things that one I find funny. Two I find funny. So your rock sliders are super bougie. Lux Landing. They're rock sliders, but they're also these like automatic motorized steps that come down and they greet you.
Those don't count as sliders. I don't know if I trust those things.
No,
for
but
sliders.
like,
Are they
says
legit?
you can like lay the body
Really?
weight on it. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like whatever, like from like the factory one, or there's this one that just pop out.
Yeah, no, these aren't like amp steps. These
Okay, that's
are
what I was
made
thinking
by
of, yeah.
Rock Slide Engineering. They
Oh,
are
okay.
legit a rock slider, and I've taken some really hard hits on them, and they hold up.
Really?
Yeah, they're
That's
designed.
actually kind of rad then.
Yeah,
because
the
like, I don't
majority
want to
of
have
it-
like that big step always sticking out. If you can get something that would tuck away,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
they do.
actually legit and gonna hold up.
Yeah. No, they're super strong. The majority of it's made out of like 3/16 plate. I mean, they're heavy duty. They're physically super heavy. It takes like two guys to get it on off the truck. I procrastinated putting these things on for the longest time because Ben can attest to this. I'm like, electric steps are like, I don't know if I can say this word, stupid.
Well, that's what I had the same mentality. I'm like, I mean, it's great for like, you know, the soccer mom wanting to get all the kids in and all stuff, like all that. But like,
I wish I had them on my ZR2.
but I would never put them on like anything that I would actually expect to take any kind of hit.
Yeah, no. So
the
check them out.
fact
I mean,
that they
they're-
are actually legit, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they're super legit. And the main reason I finally put them on the truck is because my girlfriend's getting a plug here. She's 4'11", and she's pretty
Little.
hot. So I decided to keep her.
Yeah, it'll help to get up in there, you know.
Right. So she was like, I can't get in your truck, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to put these steps on. And the funny part is when I first installed them, for whatever reason, the driver's side one didn't work. It wouldn't deploy. So I was like, I don't need it to get in.
As long as you can get in,
As
we're
long as
good.
you can get in. So it was like that for like ever. As a matter of fact, it's still like that to this day.
Something about you was only just needing one rock slider.
If it works, don't fix it.
Yeah, right. Just need the passenger side. It's all you need. You can look out the window on the driver's
There's a
side. You're
couple
good.
sayings that Brandon has. You know, cross thread is better than no thread.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the theme on my XJ. We didn't cross thread anything, but we might have almost done it.
That was hilarious, man. I remember, I don't know what we were tightening up, but you're like, I think I just cross-threaded it. And I was like, just run her down because cross-thread's
Send
better
it.
than no thread.
Ain't coming out.
He's like, do you ever plan on taking it off? I'm like, no. He's like, fucking send it.
Just like Loctite. Fuck it.
Right.
It's red Loctite.
Yeah.
So she really wanted the steps and we put them on there. And yeah, I think the passenger side, the one that actually worked for like 4 or 5 months. And then I don't know what happened, but it decided to stop working. And yeah, it's had some issues. It's definitely not a perfect product, but their customer service is pretty awesome. They hooked me up with all kinds of free parts to fix it.
Nice.
I just decided
He fixed it the Harbor Freight way with some zip
I
ties.
just decided zip tying it back up and not letting it deploy anymore was an easier fix.
and then he got rid of the girlfriend.
Much easier.
No, she still complains to this day. She's like, when are you going to fix my step? And I like the fact that she says, when are you going to fix my step?
step, yeah.
Because she knows I'm not going to do anything about the other one.
No, fuck that.
She gave up hope.
Right.
Brandon's like, I'll give you a boost.
Right.
And it's just an excuse for him to touch her butt. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's all
I'll
he is.
give you
What
a
he's trying to
boost
do.
on that.
I got you,
Exactly.
girl. I got
Exactly.
But the other thing I find, it's actually really cool. I love the sound system in that thing. And that's a factory system, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. It's a factory system, factory sub, all that. I did just recently put the Alpine speakers that go up overhead. And I put the, what's it called? Terracoustics on the dash. And they made a huge difference as well. But
Really?
yeah,
Because when it was factory, dude, it bumped.
I know. That thing sounds good.
Dude, it's the best sounding factory system I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I still remember we were working on your first iteration of your suspension at your shop. And instead of having like a shop stereo, he just turned windows down and turned up his radio, dude. It was bumping in there.
Shit. All right.
Yeah.
It was like a nightclub, dude.
It has like a little sub in the rear or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's a small sub. It's maybe like an 8-inch
Just a
sub.
little backseat underneath. Yeah.
But it sounds good. Like I said, that's one of the few options I got on that truck. I just wanted the nicest radio it had because I hate messing with electronics.
Yep.
One, I mean, I'm super anal about them, so like I'll take my time to do it right. But I feel like aftermarket radios and aftermarket speakers always have issues down the line and cause all kinds of other issues that I don't like dealing with. Fitment is never good.
Yeah.
So at the very least, I wanted like the nice factory head unit, and to get that, I had to option that out with everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like a good sound system makes the vehicle. Like in my ZR2, it came with like the Bose system, which is okay. It doesn't bump like his does.
Yeah.
It's like a big difference. So his is more deep bass, like what we used to put back in our Honda Civic days.
The old school days.
Fucking
Yeah.
212s in the trunk, dude. This thing sounds like it has like two Alpine 10s.
Yeah.
S type.
Yeah, I remember those.
With a Rockford Fosgate amp.
Dude, that's what I had in my YJ. Legit, I had an Alpine S type with a Rockford Fosgate amp in it.
Oh, man. He's like so tuner, bro.
I was rocking the jails. I was all right. You know.
Yeah. Those JLs are cool.
Yeah, but the last thing, and this is actually kind of funny because you're like so bougie. He hits me up and he's like, "Hey Ben, I have these two patterns I want to show you for the interior." He's like, "Do you like?" And this is kind of funny. I never actually told you this, but they have like the hexagonal or honeycomb style one
Stitching or something.
Yeah, the stitching, because he wanted to get red leather.
Oh, so
Okay.
I noticed that though.
So-
As one of the things I'm like, oh, you got the red leather. I'm like,
Yeah.
so that's all aftermarket.
Yeah,
And then
all
he
right.
had the other option. He's like, "So do I go with the honeycomb?" It was almost like he was showing me two pairs of high heels.
Yeah.
He's like, "Do I go with the red bottoms or do I go with my Gucci heels?" He's like, "What pattern should I get?" And then they had the diamond pattern. And I was thinking, I was like, what would go in a Rolls Royce? The quilted pattern for sure. All right, go with the quilted pattern. And that motherfucker bought that one.
Love it, dude.
You know what's hilarious? He just said Rolls Royce. The main reason I wanted that is because back in the day, my dad worked for Bentley and Rolls Royce.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's the interior that they had, and I liked
It just sparked. Yeah.
And the main thing, like behind this Gladiator, I always knew I was gonna keep this Jeep nice. So I wanted like kind of like a luxury Jeep that can still go do all the hard trails that I want to do in.
There's nothing wrong with having like being comfortable and having something nice while you're
No,
doing
I
all
mean,
this
you did it
rugged
right.
shit.
I'm giving you shit because
Yeah.
it's like super bougie with two Scottles and a shift pod and
But it's
some
nice.
red quilted
nothing-
fucking seat covers that look like
you're
a
at that,
factory.
age in your life where you don't have to drive a shit box anymore. You can drive something a little nicer.
So I was like, it was like a once in a lifetime opportunity where like I got like a hell of a deal on it, and I was like,
Nice.
all right, let's do it, let's do it right, and because again, it came with cloth. Like I got the
the
like,
base
the
base. Yeah.
base like the taxi version Gladiator is what that thing was.
Yeah, and now he's got in the rear seat the center console, right? It folds down, and then there's two champagne glasses with a bottle of
very
food.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Dom Perignon. So that's what he's got in the bag. Dom P.
The caviar pops out of the doors.
Nice.
Oh, that's what. Oh, and his umbrella too.
A little homage to the Land Rover. You know,
the Scottle and the barbecue tongs like pop out.
pop
too.
out, little automatic.
No, but that interior does look really.
Where do you
nice.
get the interior done? Is it like a shop or the?
Yeah, the shop is called Autotronica out in Orange County, and they're
Okay.
a Catskins dealer.
I was curious if it was Catskins setup. Okay, yeah, I was looking at that too because I know Catskins offers like you can do like the heated seats or they even have like a cooled seat option you switch out to. I'm like, so I was looking into that as well. So.
Yep.
Yeah, those seem to be the way to go.
Yeah, they're nice. I dig it, and I mean, I wanted leather from the beginning, just because I have kids.
Yeah, easier to clean up.
It sounds dumb, but honestly, leather or vinyl, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Is just
Pull that
so
leather.
Yeah, it's just so much easier with kids and
Dude.
as an off-road vehicle. Like you just wipe it clean. Like
Yeah.
my JKs that had cloth interior. After a couple trails, you never get that smell of dirt out of the interior.
Yeah, just
You just shampoo
absorbs it, and it's stained. It's just such a giant pain in the ass. No, leather's the way
you
to go.
You can clean it as many times as you want, and you smack your hand on the seat, and you get that puff of
dust
that comes out.
It's like baby powder.
That's how I clean. Like I'll get the shop vac in there and I'll just start whacking the seat, just making a cloud, suck up all the dirt.
Well, they have that vibrating, super fast vibrating thing. Like that, so you can get all the dirt.
Yeah,
like, you know what I saw? Those hilarious recently. This detail guy uses those massage guns.
Yeah,
those back
that's what I'm
massage
talking
guns,
about. Yeah,
and they just put it on the seat or on the carpet and let
Genius.
it vibrate the heck out of it, and then suck it up with a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, hey, honey, I need to borrow your toy real quick. I gotta clean.
I was thinking that, but I didn't say it.
I was literally thinking that, but then he said the Theragun, and I was like, that's the better way to put it.
Massage gun. Yeah.
I was trying to be PC there.
The massage
We're not PC here. Sorry.
Oh man, yeah, but no, like that interior actually looks factory, and that's the cool part.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like when we were out there earlier, I'm like, oh, sick, you got the red interior. I didn't know it was a
Catskins.
Yeah, no, they're clean. Yeah, I like the cut's always really nice on those things. They look really, like you said, factory in a sense.
Yeah.
They don't look like they're just like you see some. There's like somebody just slap some shit on there,
like my Mini Cooper with a neoprene.
It's like all fucking wrinkly in areas and like.
Yeah,
you got like those wet Ocal seat covers on it, or what? Like they look.
I
like
have those on the Land Rover, the Wetacoly one.
Oh yeah.
The wetsuit material. Yeah, those are great, but
they, not in the summer. You get all sweaty back.
Oh, dude, I sweat
balls.
so bad in that thing, dude. But it cleans. I could just hose it out if I needed to.
Speaking of which, my Mini Cooper, I actually had to remove the AC compressor, relays and all that other, and the fuses and stuff because that's what happened with the serpentine belt. The condenser froze, and then the belt was trying to go around it and just snap the belt. So I had to remove those so I don't accidentally hit it or whatever.
You got a few months before you need AC.
I know.
Again.
I got to go get a new compressor, dude.
See, I'm not the only one that temporarily fixes things. Like,
I know, dude.
Zip ties, pull fuses, whatever.
Yeah.
If it works, it works.
Oh yeah, dude. Gets me home. I'm good.
Cross thread is better than no thread.
Hell yeah.
And then my brother has one too, and I think we told you about it. He was missing lug nuts.
Lug nut one.
He's like, because he had his TJ.
Yeah.
And I realized that like every single one of his wheels, he only has
He's
like
missing
four
lug nut.
He's like 4 out of 5 lug nuts ain't bad.
like literally,
that's 80%. I got 80%. It's a Jeep thing.
Yeah, it must be.
Totally.
Oh man. So you actually going back to kind of your career. So you worked at Falk and you did the Offroad company. You did some other stuff. But the one you're at now, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm the new guy on the block over at Liqui Moly. I'm trying really hard to say it correctly.
We were fucking it up. We were butchering it earlier.
Is it Liquid Moly?
Yeah. Oh, you got some Liquid Moly. Sick. Yeah. Party.
So Liqui Moly, we are or they are a German oil company.
Lubricant.
Yes, German lube.
German lube is what we sell here.
Hey, honey, go give me your toy.
Get your toy. We need to do some German
I got
lube.
some Liquid Moly for you. Sorry.
Damn.
This is really taking a turn again.
He's like, definitely don't show this to my
employer.
Like,
oh shit.
Right. Do not tag them.
So yeah, they're a German oil company. They are the #1 oil of Europe for, I can't quote how many years, but it's quite a lot of years at this point. I think it's like at least 5 years they've been the #1 oil of Europe.
So like all oil product, as far as like just like your standard engine oils and then transmission, all the fluids, basically all fluids.
Pretty much, yeah. They were, believe it or not, they were founded in just after World War II is when the primary additive that they came out with which was MOS2. That's when it was patented, and that's what started Liqui Moly. It was actually found by the U.S. Air Force. They figured out a way to make moly, which is a solid lubricant, into a liquid, and they started adding it into World War II airplanes because after testing, they realized if the oil pan on the airplane was shot out and all the oil drained out of it, the moly continued to lubricate the engine long enough to safely land the plane.
Oh, kind of like a synthetic, how they say like you can you run a no oil or something like that. It still coats it in a sense.
I'm confused though. Let's take a step back.
Okay.
You said it was a German founded company. after World War II, but yet they were putting it in World War II planes. But the Americans,
Air Force.
I'm so confused. Because I thought Jeep kicked freaking Germany's ass. Okay,
Yeah, wait.
So I don't know the specifics here. I asked this and I didn't get a very straight answer. To be honest, with
they
you.
don't like to talk about it.
So I mean, a lot of German scientists came out of
they did.
World War II, so that could have been.
Yeah. So apparently, the U.S. Air Force figured this out. The Germans
acquired it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Germans got the patent. So I think it was like a smart business move on someone in Germany.
Yeah. Somebody intercepted that transmission. The CIA. Yeah, I blame them.
Right.
Yeah, the Omega.
So they that's how it was founded and all that. And they do a whole bunch of stuff in motorsport in Europe. They actually sponsor Formula One. Which,
yeah, that's actually where I first saw their logo. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It looks really, yeah.
Now we know.
Go ahead. Yeah, Formula One, dude.
Yeah, so I'm excited for Formula One to come to Vegas. Hopefully, I can be part of that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, dude. You didn't
I
see
don't
all the
follow
promo with the
Formula
Red
One that
Bull, the Red Bull car and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. It's coming to Vegas,
bitchin'.
and I think Texas. I don't know. Don't quote me there.
Well, Austin, it's already part of it. That's the Circuit de Americas or whatever it's called.
Right. So that'll be cool. And then we are the sponsor for. In MotoGP, there's two different classes. There's GP2 and something else. I don't know. But in GP2, they all run a spec motor. It's the same motor in every single bike. And after every race, they take the engines out and swap the engines from one bike to another so that it's known that there's no cheating. Yeah. So certain teams can't make internal changes to their engine because then their engine ends up in another racer's bike. So it's a really good way to be able to regulate, keep the bikes exactly the same.
That's smart.
Yeah. So Honda did a whole bunch of testing in different oils to prove whose oil they're going to use in that series. And Liqui Moly came up being the best one, proven by Honda. So they came to us and like, hey, do you want to sponsor us?
Yeah, impartial and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're like, dude, yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity to prove our product, yada, yada, yada. So they did it. And since then, they've had 0 engine failures since they started sponsoring, which is a huge thing because they were having engine failures prior to that.
Really?
Those race engines get pushed to the limit.
Yeah.
Dude, the RPMs and the temperature range those things are running at, like it's wow.
Yeah, they're top line all the whole way.
Yeah. Those MotoGP guys are crazy. Mm-hmm. They're literally like riding a rocket ship.
Yeah. So, I mean, the stuff is really well proven. I mean, another thing that we were talking about earlier is their I guess, one of their claims to fame is in Germany, any product sold to the general public has to be proven by an independent contractor of the government to do what they say it's going to do. So if they say, hey, this is going to reduce friction and quiet your engine down, it has to do that. Doesn't matter if it doesn't do anything else, but if that's what's on the label, that's what it has to do. Yeah. So every single product that they have is proven to do that. That's why they don't have like a one thing fixes all kind of product. They have a really large line of additives and oils because they're all really concentrated in doing what they need to do.
Yeah, a little more specific to certain needs and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, and I'll be the first to admit. I mean, as Ben and I were talking about earlier, like I've spent a lot of time working on cars. I worked as a technician, all kinds of stuff. I have a long history in as just basically being a mechanic, and I never really believed any of these like additives, like Lucas Oil,
NOS.
All this
the
kind of
NOS
stuff.
Octane booster.
Oh, right. Dude,
I'm gonna go race tonight.
Every time I went to the street drag, dude, I had to put it in my
right.
It was so much faster.
So I mean, I figured this stuff could hurt your engine or whatever, but like I figured like it's probably not going to do anything. Like whatever. So joined the company and we're going through training and got this German guy just like yelling information at me and I'm trying to absorb as much of it as I can and like take down notes from what I understand from his German accent. I'm like, oh man, like this is like, it was a lot to take in. And on my drive home, my oil change light turns on the Gladiator and I was like, all right, like let's try this stuff out. Right.
Now's the time.
And as I'm sure you guys know, and a lot of the listeners know, that 3.6 Pentastar on these things are just notorious for like cam phaser issues and rocker noise issues and hydraulic lifter noise and stuff like that. And sure enough, my truck is a little bit on the higher mileage side. It's got about
how many miles you got on there?
60,000, dude. I've been driving the hell out of that thing. Yep. So it's been starting to make some lifter noise, or at least I attributed it to lifter noise. And I was like, well, it can't hurt, like it's already making the noise. Like, let's just see what this stuff does. So I asked the German guy, I was like, what do I do?
You're like, what do I do?
Yeah. He's like, you do it like this. Yeah. He was like, I already told you should know.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're not listening.
Right. No lunch for you. Yeah. So he tells me, he's like, okay, use the engine flush, then use this oil, and then use this treatment afterwards. Like, it's a whole process, because like I said, they don't have a single additive that like does everything. Everything's real specialized. So I was like, all right, cool. So you take home a bottle of all that stuff, and I do the engine flush, dump this stuff into the engine, let it idle for like 10 minutes or whatever. And what it does is that it emulsifies any buildup in the engine, and you drain it out afterwards. So you just let it idle and whatnot. So I did that, and I was like, you know what? I got an extra one of these bottles, and I have some other oil here that's brand new. I'm going to refill it and flush this thing a second time.
You did literally like 3 oil changes that day, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I did it again. And then, once it all drained out and all that good stuff, I filled it up with the Liqui Moly and put the MOS2 additive in there. And started it up, and I'll be straight up honest, that right at startup, it was still making the same sound. So I was like, I was right. So whatever, left it there. And then next morning I drove to work. And by the time I got to work, I noticed it wasn't making the noise anymore. And I was like, maybe this is just coincidence. Maybe I'm not hearing it or something. So it sat there while I was being yelled at by the German the whole time in training.
Once again, yeah.
You didn't do it right.
Right. Yeah. I didn't dare tell him that. I was no. Worked great, man. Like, love it.
Love your snake oil.
Right. Yeah. So I get out of training and I start up my truck, and sure enough, man, it's not making the noise anymore. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, no, you know what? It's always the worst in the morning when it's cold. Like, that's always starts to rattle.
And we're in winter now.
Yeah. And it was cold. So, I drive home, let it sit overnight. Next morning, I started up early in the morning. It was cold, and it was silent. It sounded like brand new, and it still is to this day. I mean, the lifter noise is gone. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I was really blown away by it. So yeah, the stuff works. I mean, I know firsthand. The second thing, immediately after that, I was like, okay, I got to try more of this stuff. So I have 513s in the axles, and we had one gear set put in it. One of the guys at my old shop put it in, and they were noisy. They made gear noise, and I was like, maybe you didn't set it up right, something like that. Because back in the day, I used to do gears. Yeah. It's like, I think something's not set up right, whatever. So I got that set of gears warranted. They put another set of gears in it, and they were also noisy. So I was just like, I'm just going to live with it. So fast forward, now I'm working with Liqui Moly. I knew I had noisy gears, and they have a MOS2 differential fluid additive. So I was like, well, the engine stuff worked this good. Let's squeeze a bottle of this stuff into the rear end, see what it does. Like, well, why not? Like, my truck's a science experiment right now.
Yeah.
So,
why not?
Right? It'll be fine.
Yeah. It's good.
Right? Zip ties, cross thread. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So I squeeze a bottle of that stuff into the rear end, and it worked. Like, my gear noise is like gone.
Nice.
Wow,
it's kind of mind blowing. Like, I'll be the first to say, I didn't think any of this stuff was going to work, but it does. It really, really does. So
you
by
gave
the way,
us.
He's paid to say this, by the way.
Yeah. I know. Cool. Not sponsored. No.
Right.
Yeah. So you gave us some MOS2 anti-friction engine treatment here.
Yeah. So that's what I put in my truck.
The next time I do my oil change, I dump this in there with it, or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
I just did the oil change, so I'll wait a little bit. But
I need to do it to the Mini, dude.
I definitely want to check this out. I wish the Land Rover ran so I could actually test it in the Land Rover, but
No, because
it'll just leak it all out.
Yeah, it probably would. If you just pour it in, I can see it coming out the bottom.
Right.
It's got to retain the fluid.
Okay,
you got more problems in the bottle to solve, man.
I mean, this won't fix my Land Rover right here. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this is not a miracle worker, okay?
All right.
It doesn't say Jesus Christ in the bottle, okay?
All right. Well, I'll put in the Toyota and see if she can help her a little bit.
It's high mileage, you know.
I know it can't hurt. Like you said, it can't hurt.
Yeah.
So shit. I mean, I'll dump it in. I'll try it out.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, it was. I've been a car guy for a long time, and obviously, you know, oils is always a discussion amongst car guys. Mm-hmm. I never realized how intricate the oil industry is, and how advanced the ad packs are in oils now. But that's all really recent. Up until, I don't know, like the last 15, 20 years, that's when all the ad packs have been becoming important for cars. And that's really what I learned from the German yelling at me.
There's so many, though. They all have... They all have like some kind of like, that's what you, like when you're saying, you said it perfectly, like snake oil in a sense, because they all seem to have like some kind of like gimmicky added with Techron or added with this.
The reality is marketing ruined it for the reality, because it actually,
some of them actually probably work great. Like you're saying, Liqui Moly, it actually worked for your, you know.
But people are conditioned to think, oh, that's just a marketing gimmick. It doesn't really do anything.
Well, yeah, every time you go into
buy their product,
you go into AutoZone, like, do you need some, you know, fuel additive with that? You know, just when you're, oh yeah, I'm buying an air freshener.
Right.
You know, like, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. What's your year, make, and model?
Is it 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive for this air freshener?
Right.
I just want the vanilla scent, bro.
Come on, man. I want vanilla Rama, all right?
Right.
Yeah. You need some octane booster for that vanilla scent?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I mean, there is a lot of marketing involved in oils, just like there is with anything else. But what's so important nowadays is to look at the manufacturer, not recommendations, but approvals. And that's another thing where you can either have a recommendation on an oil or you can have an approval. And it's very, very different to have either one.
And you were telling me this, and because like GM, because I have a ZR2 Chevy Colorado. So the GM, they have their own version of like, no, this is either GM approved or just recommended for GM vehicles.
Yep. So if you have an oil company that recommends a certain oil for your vehicle, that means that they've done their own independent testing and that they will stand behind it. But if it's approved by the manufacturer, that means it keeps it within warranty spec or exceeds that. So really, that's what you're looking for.
The approval.
The approval, yeah. And it's super important because the way that engines are built now, tolerances are so tight and the materials in the engines are so different than back in the days that the chemical add pack in the engine is actually what lubricates it.
It's no critical component.
Yeah, it's no longer the weight. That's why back in the 70s, you dump like a 2050 in your 350 Chevy, and that's, you know, it's just the weight of the oil.
Yeah, and as it gets older, you add something a little thicker, you know.
Right. That was it. But now they're going to such low weight oils. I think BMW has like a 0.8 weight.
Yep.
Jeez,
like,
really?
It's wild. Yeah. And they're talking about doing
high compression motors, like all this stuff, dude, because everything's going to fuel efficiency. So they're adding turbos to get the power, and then they have to be super lubricated.
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with the CAFE rules and one, getting fuel economy so that, you know, there isn't so much slosh in the engine. But two, they are no longer lubricating the engine with the oil. The oil is simply a liquid carrier of the chemicals.
The actual
and the chemicals lubricate the oil. So the thinner the oil, the faster they can get it to critical component to the engine with super high tolerances. And that's why it's really important to have the right chemical add pack in the oil for the engine.
Interesting.
Because every engine has different materials in it, metals, plastics, stuff like that. And certain chemicals can affect those materials.
Break them down prematurely, things of that nature.
Right.
And my question for you, you know, talking about Liqui Moly is the fact that like, do they produce approved for every vehicle, pretty much like brand, or is it only specific ones? I guess
like universal, or is it more of a specific?
No, I wouldn't say that we have an approval for everything, but we have an approval for a lot of vehicles.
Hopefully the German vehicles, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's where we started, but we have approvals for Asian American now.
They probably some of the bigger names and stuff like that. Obviously,
Yeah. And another thing that we recently got is approvals on all the diesel stuff. So like Duramax, Power Stroke, Cummins. We have Caterpillar now.
Oh wow.
We got a lot of industrial stuff as well.
I was gonna say heavy equipment. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, I'd say 9 times out of 10 you can find an approval from us. And some things we only have a recommendation. There is some money involved in getting approvals. It's not it's not a cheap thing at all. So there's certain oils where like we'll have a 520 Liqui Moly, whatever, and then we'll have another 520 that has like MOS2, like our Moly Gen, for example. This is something I was learning today. We have a Moly Gen 520, which is a great oil. And basically what it has is it has the MOS2 already premixed into it, because a common misconception about Liqui Moly is that they think that the MOS2 additive, which is what we were founded on, is in every product we make, which it's not. So only if it says it has MOS2 is in there. So Moly Gen has MOS2 in all of it. But because Moly Gen's weights cross over so much with other oils that we already have approvals on, those are only recommended. So again, it's kind of like a money thing. Like, why are we going to pay twice? At least that's the way I took it.
Yeah,
don't quote me. Somebody don't fire me over this. But
Don't quote me. I ain't say shit.
Let me backpedal a little bit here, guys. I just learned this like 4 hours ago.
Super fresh.
But yeah. So like, but we do have approvals for most of them out there. Like, pretty much everybody that's listening to this podcast is either driving a Jeep, a Toyota, or like a Chevy or Ford.
Ford. All the basics.
The average overland vehicle out there.
Yeah.
We have approval.
5th gen 4Runner.
Oh yeah. That is the poster child.
Yeah.
That's right. Catch me at the mall.
You guys should have a logo of a 5th gen 4Runner with a trailer and Rory's head just like yelling at it.
Just spinning. It'll be an animated GIF.
Right.
We gotta talk to somebody about that.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that.
If any of our listeners are good at like motion graphics, hit us up. we got a project for you.
But yeah, definitely learning a lot at Liqui Moly. I've only been there maybe 8 weeks now.
Oh wow, okay, fresh.
So definitely fresh. First time working in the oil industry, which, like I said, was just mind blowing. All the information that I was trying to soak in. Yeah, and definitely still learning.
Yeah, a lot of science,
so much,
all that behind it. Yeah, you don't realize. Yeah,
because I work for an advertising agency that worked with ExxonMobil. Yeah, and I still remember doing a project where we had to do what they call linguistic profiling, like how are people searching for lubricants and all these other things. And like 99% of the shit that people were typing in for this stuff, I'm like, what is that and why?
We know what it is.
And I never knew, because like even you were talking about some of the specific chemicals that are in it. I mean, obviously in industrial, it's totally different than, like just standard automotive.
Right.
And so like I learned quite a bit, but nowhere near what you're talking about. So, yeah. So where can we find your products?
The best way to find it is actually going to Liqui Moly's website. We have a, I think we call it the oil finder. So you just type in your zip code and it shows you all of the retailers nearby.
Oh, nice.
I mean, the easiest way to do it is Amazon. You can order on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
All of our products are on there.
Why go to a store when you just go click from your phone?
Because Amazon's evil.
I agree.
I hate using Amazon, but I mean, you kind of have to nowadays.
The only thing I will say about Amazon and Liqui Moly, which I was warned by our trainer, is...
were you warned, or did he yell at you?
Your handler?
I was yelling. I want to pre-reference that the German guy that we're referencing to is the lead chemist for Liqui Moly from Germany.
Yeah. So he knows his shit.
So like he's talking in like all these terms, and I'm like, what? Like I need a dictionary to figure this out. Like I said earlier, I felt like I had Walter White in front of me telling me his recipe. So yeah, he told me there's a lot of products that Liqui Moly makes that do not come to the U.S. for specific reasons. Because fuels and oils around the world are really different. And there's certain products that in the U.S. you don't need or could adversely affect your vehicle because of the fuels and the oils here. Sometimes our fuel grade in the U.S. is significantly better than like what's in China. So
it's such bullshit. Like we get our winter blend in California. And they we got to charge you an extra like 30 cents a gallon because it's
30. You mean $3?
Yeah, I know.
Right. Yeah. So like there's a specific fuel additive that's made for some of the Asian markets that is because of the low fuel quality out there. And it won't hurt your engine here, but it's basically useless. So we don't sell it to the U.S., but there's a lot of Amazon stores that somehow get it and bring it to the U.S. and then sell it. So that is the part that's kind of like, well, like if it's not on Liqui Moly's U.S. website, don't buy it for your vehicle here.
Yeah, pointless.
I mean, it's always great to just go directly to the source. Can you, and I think I know the answer. Can you buy directly from Liqui Moly's website?
No.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep. Yeah. You cannot buy directly from the website, but like I said, you have Amazon as an option. If you use the store finder, Napa, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, Parts Authority, those are like
O'Reilly.
No, not O'Reilly.
Oh no! Oh bummer!
Yep, and of course, a lot of Euro tuner shops have it. Just because they use it for their own customers, and most of them will have a rack in their showroom that has our product. But yeah, the cool part about like Napa or Advance is if they don't have it in stock, they can order anything from our U.S. catalog and have it within like a day.
I will say Napa saved my ass with the Mini Cooper and that serpentine belt because that's where we went. And it was like a custom part. We brought in the old ripped up version of it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got you, fam." So nice. He hooked it up. Like they're super knowledgeable. You may pay a little bit more, but you're paying for these like experienced guys who know what they're talking about. So
did you use your gambler discount again?
No, that's only at O'Reilly.
Only O'Reilly. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
No, but Napa's great. They have a lot of good stuff there.
Right on. Yeah, they definitely do. But yeah, I don't know where I was leading on after that.
No, where you can find your products.
Yep. Napa and all that good stuff. So definitely our store finder.
Yeah, awesome. I might have to like check something out. And you have like the fuel additives as well, or the just oils and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I ran a fuel system cleaner through my truck as well.
Okay.
I mean, I can't say I noticed a huge difference.
I always just throw something in every so often just to maybe help clean them out, the injectors or whatever bullshit a little bit,
Yeah.
Make you feel good.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm doing something.
Honestly,
I mean, I'm not one of those guys who's going to run like 92 octane in my shit at all times.
Right.
Peasant. We got to go to the Downs Energy Phillips.
Yeah.
The race fuel, baby.
Hell yeah. Get the trick racing fuel in there, Yeah.
Downs Energy is one of our bulk distributors for Liqui Moly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Well, in Corona, I mean, you're a Corona guy.
Yep.
They have that Downs Energy right off Magnolia in the 15.
Yep. That's them.
I always see these like guys with the cams. Like, I love the meme with the pig snoring.
Right.
We used to go out to like there was this, I think it was like a 76 gas station on the 8 freeway heading out towards like I think we'd be going out to like Glamis or something when I lived down in San Diego, and we'd be going out to the 8, and there was like a 76 station, and they actually had a pump that had like trick racing fuel. So we'd always pull in there, and like we'd be filling up our Ford Rangers with trick racing fuel, like it was gonna fucking do anything. Like, oh, dude, we're getting 105 octane right now, dude. We're gonna be blazing through these dudes right now.
Motherfucking Ford Ranger,
motherfucking Ford Ranger, and like, I mean, whatever. And it was funny because like, oh, dude, it's so expensive. We're paying like $5 a gallon for this right now. Nowadays it's like, I wish.
Right. That would be like the equivalent.
Oh, it's probably like $20
a gallon. Yeah.
Oh, easy. Yeah, it was bonkers. Like I think it was like $2. Mate, it was like probably $1.50 a gallon back then when I was driving. Yeah, that's how old I am. And so we were paying $5 a gallon for the trick racing fuel. It was, we're so fast, dude. Fast and Furious.
Definitely,
that was before Fast and Furious.
Yeah, that was before Fast and Furious. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I ran that fuel system clean through my truck, and like I said, I didn't notice like a huge difference on it, but it's more of a preventative maintenance is what they were explaining to me. They're like, look, you have in your truck, don't you want to keep it as new as possible internally and externally. It's like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Why let it build up when you can prevent the buildup?
It's the same thing as brushing your teeth.
Yeah, like in the morning, I chew up my Flintstone vitamins every morning. You know, I mean, I might not feel anything right away, but I know they're helping me over the long run.
I know it's curing cancer.
It totally is. Longevity.
Yeah, there's asbestos in it.
Absolutely. You know?
That's what it tastes like. It's so chalky, dude. Like, oh. Now, I swear, okay, getting on vitamins really quick. I find it blows my goddamn mind how good vitamins taste now. They taste like candy.
I have gummy ones in there, dude. They're like candy.
Like the vitamin C ones. We used to hate taking those. And you would chew it up after you brush your teeth. And you're like, oh my God, it's disgusting. But now I have these orange gummies. They're sugar coated.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm the picture of health.
Legit, I have to hide those things from my kids now because they just want to eat them they think it's candy.
Oh yeah. My daughter, I'll hook her up. I'll put it out too. I'll put it out. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna take."
It is coated in sugar, though.
Oh
yeah. Look at the ingredients.
No, it's 90% sugar, and you get like 2 drops of vitamin C in that a little bit, and you're good. Yeah,
exactly. Oh man. Well, cool. I think we're pretty good there. I mean, that's awesome, man. Liqui Moly, go check it out. Website, find your local distributor, get some shit.
I'm gonna throw some in my. I wish I didn't just change my oil because I want to use it now. I want to try it out.
Yeah, try the additives. Try the oil. You can go on the website. We have an oil finder. So again, I was talking how these new vehicles are really sensitive to the specific oils that they need. Mm-hmm. You can go on there on the oil finder, type in year, make, model, your engine, all that kind of stuff. Some of it is even specific to your mileage, which
makes sense.
Kind of mind
high mileage or yeah.
So you can go on there and it'll tell you exactly what oil to use in that vehicle. And check it out and put the right oil in the truck. You'll be surprised at the difference, actually.
I mean, the first vehicle, my guinea pig vehicle is going to be the Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
No, that's probably what it needs it the most.
And it is German too. It's BMW.
You should love it. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like we spend so much money on all this aftermarket crap and shit like that for our trucks. You know, like I need traction boards. I need fucking all the lights. You know, all this kind of stuff. But like, you should be doing stuff like that to keep it running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because people like
take care of your truck, like change your oil all the time. I mean, like it's even if you're not using the high end stuff or whatever it is, just like, do some maintenance on your truck. Don't just like hope it, survives.
Spend the extra like $30 on it. I mean, come on.
It's a big
investment.
A Scottle. Yeah. Right. It's a big investment for this truck, give it some love, it's takes you more places. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
I feel like that was a Toyota plug, takes you more places.
Is that? Oh, that's right. I am a Toyota boy now. So yeah, that's right.
Fucking fanboy. Yeah. I'm over here like a rock.
Yeah. Changing my stripes to what are we? Red or orange, yellow, and
the 80s version.
Yeah. Ivan Iron Man Stewart, bro.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
With his like the seat in the middle of the truck.
I was like,
rat. I was like
Yep.
I love that truck.
Well, what was that arcade game that had the 3 wheels?
Dude, it was called Iron Man Offroad.
Yeah,
it was literally Ivan Stewart's
and you just
arcade
crank
game.
that wheel every time.
You just let that sucker spin like crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I would legit to this day, I still everybody has like Xboxes and shit. I still want one of those.
Same.
Put it in your garage.
Have it in the garage. I would have it right here in the podcast room. Fuck that. I ditch the kitchen table. I don't need that shit. Put
you
that
have
in
a
there.
girlfriend now, so you can't do that shit.
I do what I want when I want.
Do what I want.
He's not listening. Sorry. No.
He's like, sorry, babe.
Dude, that was the best, dude. And the nitro button on it.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
Baby.
And then
it would do wheelies.
Yeah. Like, wait till the end and just boost the shit out of it to the finish line, dude. Oh, that was the raddest game ever.
Between that and Excite Bike, man. Ooh.
Dude.
Excite Bike.
The B button gives you that fast power, but your temp goes up.
Yeah, that's right.
They needed some Liqui Moly, man.
Yeah, that's what they needed for real.
Oh man. Right.
Are you gonna I know like you're not a rock crawler guy anymore. Are you gonna go out to Hammers though?
Yeah, I am going out to Hammers.
Bitchin'.
I will definitely be at Hammers in the Overland experience. It's
we'll be out there with you.
Definitely describes my style of off-roading today. Rock crawling and overlanding.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Rock landing and
we didn't even tell all of the stories from King of the Hammers, but we'll save it for another day. But but one of my favorite
stories.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories is when we were in that Unimog The Falcon Unimog.
Dude,
yeah.
Oh, bitch!
I know we were about to end, but you want to just quickly tell that story?
That was good times. To be honest with you, I think my memory is so fogged from that night that all I remember is being in the.
I was there. I don't know anything.
No, I definitely remember most of it. I think the headlights sucked.
I remember there was no headlights, and I was like, I can't slow down because it'll turn off and probably not turn back on.
Yeah, I know. The headlights were. I mean, it's an old.
It's
Unimog.
an old Unimog. Yeah.
So the headlights, it's like might as well have a candle.
They're
out
legit
there,
candle
right?
light.
And so I remember my light, my Surefire I had in my hand. I was holding it out and putting it on bright so he could actually see. My hand was out the window. And we roll up to Chocolate Thunder, and Brandon, of course, being Brandon, he was like, "Oh my God, I see all these Jeeps. They think they're going up farther than me. We're going to take the Unimog up here." And so we just start going up even further, and then we get stuck.
We got stuck. We're like, "This is good. We're getting out here."
Perfect. No, we didn't get stuck. I'm sorry. We parked there.
Yeah, that's
because
exactly
he was
where you wanted to
flexing
be.
on everybody, but then he couldn't get it started again. That's what it was.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I just cranked the starter in gear until I got over the rock that it was stuck on.
Yeah.
And then we bump started it going downhill.
Momentum, baby.
Hell yeah. Always park downhill.
Exactly. That was a good time. That was a really good time.
That's rad.
The joys of wheeling vehicles that don't belong to you.
I know, right? It ain't mine.
Well, hence the people that go with him. You'll be fine. You're good. Yeah. Just remember this on this episode of The Average Overlander.
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for coming on, man. It's been a good time. Really appreciate it. Once again, how can they find you on Instagram? Follow your crazy adventures.
Code 5337.
All right. Code underscore
yes.
5337
on the gram.
Yes.
On the gram.
Nice.
Awesome. You got any plugs, Jared?
No, I mean, I'm trying to think what's our date right now.
King of the Hammers. I'll just do it. King of the Hammers, man.
I was thinking King of the Hammers, but I think that's in 2 weeks. We'll have another episode before King of the Hammers, right?
Yeah, but buy your tickets now.
Oh yeah.
Buy it now because you don't want to buy it at the door because then they're like $100 versus $75.
It's up to 75 right now. It was 50 when we
55 when we bought it.
Yeah, now they're 75, 100 at the door. I think ORW is still doing a deal. If you spend $250 there, they'll give you a free ticket. I don't know if they still have tickets left, but I know they were doing that for a minute.
Well, you can get Liqui Moly at ORW,
actually,
right?
Oh,
really?
Quick plug. We're
Go buy
talking about
$250 worth of Liqui Moly at ORW.
Where can you get Liquid Moly? Yeah, we just landed the Liquid Moly ORW deal, so they will be ORW stores. It's not there yet. I literally went to the first ORW yesterday, and the guys were like, we haven't heard of this yet. But I was like, no, you will. Trust me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely coming. We're kind of ironing out some kinks, but it is official. It will be ORW. So for the Overland and Offroad guys, you can go pick it up there.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, I know they do service there as well.
That's what I was going to say. That's where Allie gets her Forerunner, her 5th gen Forerunner serviced.
Hey.
It's still running.
Amazingly.
Yeah. So they do a lot of service. They when I actually met her at an ORW while they were doing her diff service there.
Okay.
So and I'm sure in the service department they'll carry your Liqui Moly stuff too.
If have it changed out right then and there. Nice.
Hell yeah, man.
Definitely.
Well, cool. So what's your plug?
Oh, well, fuck. I don't know now. Shit. Yeah.
All right.
Those were my plugs. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna do the King of the Hammers, but not just King of the Hammers. There's a Shift Pod experience.
Olaf event.
Partnered with Olaf event. Always a good time with Rory.
Yep.
You can get the real story from Rory, or at least his side of it.
We'll have some new stories after that.
Yeah. If you want to hear his side of the story,
I think I'm going to start calling him Story Rory.
It's
always that's always in the sentence somewhere. Rory and Story.
Yeah, Rory
goes
always
hand
has
in
a
hand.
story.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thanks again for coming on. You got any other plugs?
No, that's it. I'll be at the Overland Experience with Rory, sharing stories, and find me
You'll
there.
hear both sides. Yeah. Swing on by. Nice.
Exactly.
We gotta get some liquor in you guys. And,
Yeah.
with the campfire. Yeah. Like legit. You might get some.
That I'd be like, hey, Rory, come follow me. There's this easy trail called Chocolate Thunder. You'll make it.
You got this.
You might chocolate thunder your pants. Grab your trailer.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
All right. Yeah. No, it was a fun one. It was good. Yeah. Like you said, thanks for joining us out here. And hopefully we'll see some of you guys out there at Hammers with us. But yeah, we'll have another episode before then. But until then, thanks for joining us.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.